I'm wishing my days away, no way. And if it's a price I pay, some say tomorrow's another day. Walking on the moon. Walking on the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Walking on the Moon. What a great remix that is. I'm going to leave that video or the link to that song in the description of this What's Your Question 97 when we finish later on. But a great remix, amazing remix. Tonight's a blood moon, man. I don't really follow the patterns of the moon that much, but I'm sitting here decoding. This was like spur of the moment to come on here and go live. And I look out my window and there was the moon blasting in. And I was like, oh, full moon tonight. That's right. And it's a blood moon. Of course, it doesn't look blood from my perspective. But anyway, thanks for joining. What's Your Question 97 Blood Moon Edition. I'm wearing the sunglasses again to remind you that you're inside of a movie. That's right, we're in a movie, man. We're going to take these off. That was the prop. That's why I wear those. To let you know that you're in a movie, man. We're in the grand illusion, Maya. And we have broken the code wide open. Past couple decodes have been just phenomenal. I have some big time decodes coming out on the membership donating Patreon. Thank you to everybody for being a part of that. I have coming out next a title called Eternal Life Decoded. We just did the Architect of the Matrix Decoded, which was ridiculous. Got a lot of positive feedback on that one. So thanks everybody for watching that one. The numbers are crazy up, and it was a fun one to do. So I'm going to get to as many questions as I can. Again, this was a spur of the moment. What's your question? And I just was like, oh, ask the cards. Cards like, sure, let's do it. Tonight's card is the 10 of diamonds, card number 36. I know I saw some of the comments tomorrow being the Gregorian Pi Day. But to me, it's not the official Pi Day anymore. Pi Day is going to be on May 14th. Because when you look at the sun's perspective, well, March 20th this year will be the spring equinox. The official spring equinox will be on March 20th. That is when the sun is directly overhead the equator, where it gives both the northern and the southern hemispheres equal light. So it's perfectly balanced, and March is the first month. Starting on the equinox now, right? You have to go back and look at what year the spring equinox started on to figure out what month you were born in. I have this calendar, 13-month calendar. I got it really dialed in now, where day number 1 starts on the equinox, but of course it varies depending on what year you were born. I was born in 73, so March 20th was my new year. That's the official first day of the year. So that means May 14th is actually Pi Day instead of tomorrow. The Gregorian is the Pi Day for Gregorian, but I don't really follow the Gregorian calendar anymore. Not that it's wrong, but I go by nature, and the sun. And the sun, as we know now, the sun is the great red dragon. In Revelation 12 verses 3, if you want to know what the dragon is, it's the sun. And that means the beast is the moon. Revelation 13 verses 1. And behold, I saw a dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns. Yeah, that's the moon. The beast. The beast is. The dragon is the sun. Excuse me. The sun is the dragon which dictates the light. Like tonight's the full moon. Should see the markets go up. Cryptocurrency will probably go up. And that's because the moon doesn't give off any of its own light. It's a reflector. The moon does not give off any of its own light. It is a reflector. It takes the sun and it's like it bounces it off. It's a projector. The moon is the camera in the sky, man. The great gig in the sky, the server in the sky. That's how I have it figured out anyway. So the sun and the moon, and that's why the sun and the moon, they run the stock markets and they run cryptocurrency. That's why the eclipses are big. So we've busted the code, and then the next couple decodes I have coming out are going to be explosive and very informative. I got some more astrology. I'm going to be breaking down the song "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor, 1982, came out on May 18th. It's crazy. I watched the interview for the guy, the lead singer of Survivor, who wrote it. Got hired by Sylvester Stallone to write it for the Rocky III movie. And it's ridiculously scripted, the whole damn thing. Sylvester Stallone, I got his astrology chart pulled up. His sun was in Gemini during his birthday. He was born on July 6th. It's so funny, man. Okay. What's up, Lisa S? Lisa, when's your course coming? I'm still working on it. I'm a turtle, man. I know I've been saying this. It's been a couple years I've been saying it's coming out, so just be patient. I'm not a rabbit. I'm a turtle. Very slow. Not in a rush. Whenever I feel the urge to bring it out, it's going to come out. So... Angela 369, are you feeling the effects of the blood moon? I don't really feel effects of things. I don't know. For me, I just don't feel any of that kind of stuff. Mary Stevens, no predictions. No predictions. But now that we know the beast and the dragon are the sun and the moon, well, those are my final answers. It kind of not changes anything, but it really kind of blows the story wide open. And that's why it says, like, who can resist the beast? You know, the moon is, it directs the light. It's a reflector. And it's tied to Lucifer, the light bringer, to direct the energy. And it has to take the energy of the sun. The sun's the boss. And this is the whole Ra system. The whole Ra 88 system is the sun and the moon as they make the analemma shapes as they move across the sky, however that works. Ra being 88, time travel, it's all based upon light and the narration of light. So the moon is what takes the light of the sun and pushes it onto the screen, and the moon becomes the sun at night, right? Obviously. So, Angela says the crypto market crashed. Yeah, it got crushed. I mean, Bitcoin, I don't even really look at the markets because I don't care. I'm honest, I don't care. I just collect it. If it goes up, great. I went and checked it and it was like down big time. I mean, I remember when it was like 108, Bitcoin was, and now it's down to like 80, I think. So it'll recuperate, man. That's why don't sweat it. The best thing to do is not be attached to it at all. Like if you lose it, you lose it. If you gain it, you gain it. I mean, what are you going to do with it anyway? You can't really use it for anything right now. You know, we're in a holding pattern. So, I mean, you can dump it down to Tether, but then, you know, what's the point? Once it goes full onto the crypto system and you can't move it into Tether and all that stuff, that's when things will change. I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe it won't. Maybe it just won't happen at all. Maybe the crypto will never make it. I don't know. Like I said, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's not going to change my life. I'm still going to keep doing this and doing that and being creative. And if you really think about it, you know, like, how's it going to change your life? I mean, yeah, you may become wealthy, but is it going to change the way you do your life every day? It's not going to change the way you eat your food unless, of course, you buy. I mean, some people are going to actually ruin their lives when they have a lot of money. They're going to party it up. They're going to decay quicker. They're going to become more acid. There will be that for sure. Chosen Gold 7 says, please explain pi. May 14th, wasn't sure about pi. Because March is the first month. And again, I look at the calendars as not wrong. Like Gregorian calendar is a calendar. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you go prior to the Julian calendar, Julius Caesar supposedly, I wasn't there, so I'm just regurgitating this. Julius Caesar took January and February and moved it in front of March. Before his calendar, March was the first month. And that means May becomes the third month, which means Pi Day is May 14th. Not March 14th. But of course, there are going to be tons of people celebrating Pi Day, Pi Day tomorrow. because it is a Pi day on the Gregorian calendar. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm looking to May 14th, and that's the interesting part about that is that it's the Five of Diamonds card, which is card number 31. And 31 adds up to 4. Five of Diamonds turns into the Five of Pentacles, which is card 69. And guess what the numerology of the word beast and dragon are in Greek numerology, where they came from? They are both the number 69. Therion and Drakon are both 6. I probably butchered the dragon, but Therion is the word beast. That equals 69 in Greek numerology. And dragon in Greek is also 69. They're both yin yang. That's your dragon and beast. And pi is Ra, man. Ra is 88 plus 226. Radium, see, it's all about the elements of the periodic table. Those are the clues. Those are the bridges. That's what our reality is tied right to. And radium 226 has 88 protons, 88 electrons, and 138 neutrons. And when you add all those up, you get 314, which is pi. And Ra is the sun and the moon, the two eyes of God. The eye in the sky, man, the sun and the moon. The two eyes. It's super interesting when you look at it this way. Yeah. Even, let me see if I have this ready. I can show you. Just show you really quick. Even this. This right here. It's all chemistry. So this is the scripture of the burning bush. And Moses goes up on to the mountain and he says, "What should I tell the people? Who are you?" And the Yod says, "I am who I am." Well, it's Exodus 3 verses 14, you see. And that is the structure of radium 226. See, this is right. So if you're a fan of Bashir's and the Phoenix, the 138, it's right there. What causes the Phoenix event? The sun and the moon. Ra, which is Re. And they add up to 314. So, and I've already showed in the tower decoded and the watchtower decoded that using 5 different Bibles, including the Quran, the Yod is Ra, man. It's Ra. So it's predating the Bible. You go to Egyptian mythology, man, and it's not even mythology. It's Ra, man. That's why, like Lady Gaga, Ra Ra, ooh Ra Ra. You know that song, right? It's called Bad Romance. Yeah, we're in a bad romance. And my final answer is love is the trap. That's what. It's a contradiction, right? Because that's how we all got here. 2 people humped and out pops you. That's what keeps the game going. But just that act right there is what traps people. You're in a bad romance, man. I mean, Lady Gaga was born on March 28th. It was a common year, but March 28th is the 87th/88th day of the year. I mean, she's got a big fat cross on her Bad Romance album. That's why the cross, man, it's off limits for me. Those of you that wear the earrings and you're wearing the necklace and all that, man, I wouldn't do that. That's me, though. I'm not in your life, but reincarnation is what the cross means. Not a bad deal. But if you're somebody who doesn't want to come back, if there is a chance to get out, And that's what I'm after. So here we go with the love stuff. Folks, we are human beings. When we're younger, at least for me, maybe it was different for you, right? When I was younger, when I was growing up, I wasn't thinking about anything critical. When you're 15 and you're just about to turn 16, you're doing your driving tests and you're thinking about getting your driver's license at 16. For most people, you're not thinking about the sun and the moon and the eye in the sky and something watching you and is there something controlling me? No. I want to get my driver's license, man. I want to get a car. Then you turn 18. Then you look forward to 21. You can get out there and drink and party. Now it's time. Woohoo! And you go have fun. There's no critical thinking. And then what most people end up doing is they want to find a mate so they can procreate, to have kids and have a family. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's no critical thinking that goes into that. Zero. Maybe now, but not back then. When you have the draw to bust one out, I mean, I'm being serious, right? When you have chemistry with somebody, that's lust. Desire is lust. It ain't love. Desire is lust. You can fall in love with somebody and have feelings for them and develop feelings by way of using them for your feelings. That's exactly what everybody does in relation. You use your partner, plain and simple, because you can't raise your oxytocin and dopamine yourself. I mean, what are you going to do? Hold your own hand and feel all giddy inside? No, you use your partner to love. We use each other. That's what we do. That's just how this reality works. And that's what makes babies, and that's what keeps the game going. And that's not a bad thing. People get angry and I'm not saying it's bad, man, but okay. I mean, you guys all know how I roll with this, man. I get really animated and I get passionate about it. So Marco asked a question, do I think Taoist monks make it out? I mean, they probably think they're going to. I'm not going to stand in the way of I'm not here to stand in the way of anybody's truths. I mean, think about what goes into a Taoist monk's life. They live a life of celibacy. So there's that. There's no distractions there. They shave, for the most part. Why do they shave their head? To remove the ego. They wear the same uniforms so they don't stand out. Everybody fits in for the most part. They do whatever they do for their rituals. I can't say whether or not that's going to be the way to do it. I mean, I don't think there's a cookie cutter way to exit the game of life, if there is such a thing. And again, I say if, because I can't prove it. Mary, is the Orion decode on the horizon? I have tried to decode Orion multiple times and I just hit dead ends, and I've got it shelved. I just don't have no interest right now in it. I mean, it's obviously a big deal because, I mean, usually every time I look up at the sky, there it is staring me in the face. I've always been that way as a kid. Look up at the sky, there's Orion. How come I always am gravitating towards Orion? Maybe I'm from Orion, I don't know. Fun stuff. There's a lot that goes into these constellations. You have the 3 main stars of the belt. You have Betelgeuse. You have Rigel. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, you could definitely decode those. Supposedly Betelgeuse is supernovaing soon, or it already has. I don't know. You know. Kill is asking the question, if there's no before life, why would we think there's an afterlife? Well, why wouldn't there be a before life? It's all going to come down. Listen, let me just tell you this. This is my final answer. And this is what I tell, this is what I have told, and what I do tell people that I do a personal reading for. And I tell them, and I'll tell you now, this is what I say to everybody now. This is the most important thing I'm going to tell you out of the entire reading. You may not think it's the most important, but it is. And the most important thing that I want to tell you is that you are the creator of this reality. So everything I'm about to show you, your numbers, like when your number of numerology appears in your name, it's just yours, man. Nobody else has it. I mean, I know like a lot of people have the same numbers with their birth certificate name, but those people are irrelevant in your life. And that's how important you are in this reality. You are the VIP OG in this reality. But many of you don't act like it because you're comparing yourself to other people and you think, well, they have more than I do, or I don't have enough, or this. So you compare, and I get it, man. You're in the habit of doing that, some of you. But when you stand up and say, I'm the VIP of this entire reality, I create this entire reality around me, like I'm an extra in your movie. Like I'm not a star in your movie. Absolutely not. I'm just an extra. You may come here for information, but I'm not a star in your movie. You are. You're the star. But see, when you give your power away and you start tapping into mainstream and you start infiltrating mainstream into your reality, and then it becomes a dominant sector in your reality, you end up kind of releasing your VIP status. You give it away. And when you compare your life to theirs, you kind of give it away in a big way. So one of the greatest things I've done for myself is I turned off the mainstream in a big way. Have I turned it off completely? No. But I barely watch it anymore. Like sports I used to watch all the time, don't really have any interest. Politics I used to watch a lot, don't have any interest. I free up that energy and I can put it on, and this is why I'm dedicated to this channel, and everything that I'm pumping out is for your benefit. It's for my benefit too, but it's for everybody's benefit. Whatever you end up doing with it. I have a lot of people that don't like what I'm saying. They think I'm crazy. They think I'm this. They think I'm that. And it's just so funny. I mean, why am I crazy and you're not? People think I'm crazy and I have this distorted way of why? Because you say so. But I would say that you're the one who's distorted in your life. Because I get to be the star of the movie, not your movie. I get it. So a lot of people don't like me and this and that. That's totally fine. I don't have to live in your life. So once you graduate and refine yourself, you'll stop blaming. You'll live and let live, right? And you'll stand up and not have to defend and just be the star of your movie. And that's where it's at. I feel anyway. All right, let's get back to some of these questions. I can't Cap Tunkin Dorden? I don't. Someone says, when you overcome or advance, you no longer vibrate at an old frequency, so things you used to enjoy may be hard to sit through now. Yeah, totally. Hail Metallica, why can't I stop drinking to numb myself? I believe it's because it's so hard when you see this reality so simply. I would completely disagree. Why can't you stop drinking? Because you haven't made the decision to stop drinking. Simple as that. Why does it have to be so complex? Why does there have to be a reason? Because we're in the habit of giving excuses or defining why we, like, when you're angry, why do you have to have a definition? I'm just angry. I'm sad. I'm just sad. So why can't you stop drinking? Because you haven't made the decision to stop drinking. I mean, there doesn't have to be a reason for that. So you go on to say, all I want to do is spend my time being in nature and live free. Okay, so how much time do you spend doing that versus doing the opposite, doing what you are doing? I don't think you're drinking to numb yourself. I wouldn't think that's the case. I would just think that you might just be afraid to actually go into nature and be free. And you're trying to escape the freedom by, it's like a roadblock. And it's just habits, right? Like drinking is a habit. Smoking is a habit. Some of you here smoke pot every day. It's a habit. Why does there have to be any definitions wrapped around it? It's like, keep it simple, man. Like there is no rhyme or reason why I'm doing this. I'm just doing it. So when you finally are ready to let go and move on to, you gotta obviously make a sacrifice, right? So if you want to be in nature, I mean, make the decision to, okay, well maybe tomorrow I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to force myself to go hiking. Cool. And then you get out to hike and then you look around you and like when you go, I love hiking. I don't think I've ever drank and went hiking. It just doesn't mix. It just doesn't mix. So when you make the determination to say, well, I'm going to try something a little bit different here, then just go do that. Don't try to overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to have a definition. You just want to do it, then go do it. That's all. But I mean, if you drink every day, well, you're crushing your liver. You're not respecting your temple. I don't think so anyway. That's my opinion, but like everything that we do to remove the simplicity of life, like how complex is everyone here, how complex is your life? The more complex your life is, the more distracted you will be. I mean, I'll give you a great example, right? Which I love this movie. Jim Carrey, Terrence Stamp, Yes Man. Amazing movie. In the beginning, Jim Carrey's like, nope, nope, nope. He was all about no. And then he goes to this yes conference where everybody says yes. And what happens to him when he starts to say yes? His life completely changes, and the movie's portraying that it changes for the better because he ends up saying yes to all the opportunities that come his way. And what happens every time an opportunity comes your way and you don't turn it down? It provides you more distraction, which can easily take you away from an addiction, for sure. But every time you bolt on something to your life gets more complicated and more complicated and more complicated. Every time you do something more. And then some of you say, I Man, my life's so busy. I have no time to decode. I have no time to watch videos anymore. I have 5 kids and I have a husband or a wife and I got to take the kids to soccer practice and, where's my time? I don't have the time. Yeah, because you have all these distractions. I get it. That's just what your life's all about. But if you don't have any of that and you look at your life, maybe you want to start saying yes to some things in life. But just remember that every yes you say, hey, do you want to come to my party? Sure, I'll go. And now you're committed to that. Now, another distraction, right? But it's a contradiction. It's a paradox because every opportunity may provide you something in your life where you earn more money. You meet somebody that could change your life. You meet somebody that you can go into a partnership with. So the yes part of life is living to where attachment. Do you want to have this? Do you want to have that? Sure, yes. But when you start saying no, you remove the distractions. But then you're left with really nothing. The bare bones. And you can get depressed. Like in the Yes Man movie, Jim Carrey was depressed because he had a breakup. Of course, that's what the whole thing, that's the funny part is, his wife left him. The heart, man. He was heartbroken. So he went into no. He gave up on life. Why? Because of love, man. That was the whole point of the story is the trigger was love. If you didn't fall in love in the first place and you wouldn't get heartbroken, there wouldn't be a chance to get heartbroken. That's at least how I look at it. But remember that every time you say yes to something or somebody, you end up having attachments in your life, which again, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying is that your life becomes more filled with complexity. That's why if you look at the monks, shave their head, they wear the same outfits, they lead a simple life, they eat simple foods. For me right now, that's where I'm at. I just went to Costco today and I bought 4 bags of oranges. I bought like 10 pounds of halos, the little mandarins, and sun-kissed oranges because I'm on this orange kick right now. And I bought nuts. That's the majority of my life. It's simple. It's from the earth and it's simple foods. And my body, when I do that, it likes it the best. If I start to go out and go to eat and go to restaurants, no, my body starts to react and says, dude, if you want to keep doing that, you're not going to like what's going to happen, the reactions I get. So it's for me, just eating foods and keeping it super simple has changed my life. Like this right here is a date. I never used to eat this stuff, man, but it's just so easy. I don't have to cook. I open them up. I have dates and nuts. Simple, right? And it's from the earth, so I get no reaction from this food. None. I eat simple stuff, man. I've removed complexity from my life. For the most part, not that I don't go out and have complex foods. When I go to a restaurant or something, yes. But if I do that multiple days in a row, I have a reaction. Because there's so much shit in the food today. You don't know what they're cooking with, what kind of oils they're using. You don't know if there's this and that in there. I know what's in this right here. I know what's in a date. One ingredient, simplicity. This is one ingredient. There's not 5 in there. There's no food coloring. There's no oils. There's one ingredient in these things. That's it. So my life, for me, is simple. It's a simple life, man. So when you really, if I could sit down with every one of you, before I got into decoding, and I was a life strategist, right? I was a trainer. I was in the gym industry, nutrition. I got certified in nutrition. I used to be a strategist, a life strategist, where I could sit down with anybody, and we list out everything that you do from A to Z with your habits. Now you have to be honest. Can't leave anything out. And then if you really want to dial your life in, you get a notepad, go old school, and you write down everything you eat and drink for 2 weeks straight. And then you give me that list. And for a lot of you, it will be super complex. And the complexity is, it makes you decay faster. It's just that simple, man. So when you lay out your foods, like if you need to reduce your weight, it doesn't happen in the gym. It happens on the food that you eat and how much water you drink. Many of you here are chronically dehydrated. You don't drink enough water. That's the number one cause of daytime fatigue is dehydration. And if you drink coffee on top of that, it makes it even worse. If you drink alcohol, it makes it even worse. And alcohol is super acidic. And when your body's always acidic, man, you're prone to immune system things, and you can get sick easy because if a cold comes around you and you breathe it in and you're acidic, you can easily catch that. Again, the complexity of your life. So complexity makes you more acidic. Complexity in your life will make you more acidic for the most part. So again, you go back to your whole life and we sit down strategically and look at your life. What are your habits? What are you doing? Okay, how much sleep do you get? How much water do you drink? What kind of foods do you eat? What kind of activities do you do? From the simplest little dumb things that we don't pay attention to, how many hours do you spend looking down at the phone now and your neck I've had issues with my neck, and so when I've talked to doctors and they say, yeah, it's becoming worse and worse because people's heads, they're holding up a 10-pound head and they're bending it down and the neck has to take all that. Just that right there, we don't pay any attention to. Like, that's a habit we're doing. We weren't doing that 20 years ago. And that's destructive. But I mean, who the hell here holds their phone like this? And does this? No, we put it down naturally, right? So if you want to really increase your livelihood, then getting on a strategy is the way to go, man. And the simpler your life is, the better your life will be from a health perspective, from every perspective, in my opinion. I mean, this is why I have said that, like, relationships, I'm not going to go into the whole love thing, but think about it. If you're not in a relationship, there's no one that you need to pay attention to. There's no distraction. There's nobody saying, come cuddle with me, come here with me, come make love to me, come satisfy me. How come you didn't take me out for Valentine's Day? How come you didn't buy me this gift for my birthday? If you don't buy him anything, there's expectations, right? When you don't have a partner in your life, there's no distraction in your life. So it's a benefit. Now, obviously, if you have a partner, there's benefits in having a partner, of course. You can raise your oxytocin and dopamine and be in love and use each other for sex and kissing and holding hands and sharing a life together. So there are benefits with that. But I'm saying is that if you want to create simplicity in your life, no attachments. But that's a tall order for many people because we're in the habit of attachments. We're in the habit of, I need my oxytocin and dopamine and serotonin. I need it raised. I need to use you so I can get off, so I can feel better. It's just kind of how I look at it, man. So simplicity is the way to go, man. Simplicity is the way to ascend, in a sense. Not of this world says, I'm drinking a honeydew melon and watermelon juice right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm on this, which I didn't go get today, damn it. I'm on this cantaloupe, the orange ones, and prosciutto. Man, I don't do it all the time because there's a lot of sodium in the prosciutto, but man, it's simple. You just cut up the thing and just eat it. It takes you 5 minutes. There's no cooking. It's simple. It's awesome. Andrew Hernandez, how are people attached to their family members? Well, by way of feeling, right? I mean, I don't know. It's going to be different for everybody. Not of this world says relationships are hard work. I totally get it. Children are a lifetime commitment. Yeah, that's the thing. So, folks, if you're single, if you're somebody who's not with anybody, wake up grateful every day that you're not. Because it may change. You have no distraction. No one. Think about if you have a partner, how many you got to call on the phone. Oh, can you pick this up from the grocery store? You got to spend money. If you have a partner, many people expect you to pay for this and pay for that. Take them out on date. It's date night, and like these are things that are expected through the programming and just follow the leader kind of stuff. So if you're single, man, waking up grateful that you're single is a good feeling to have. And if you're in a partnership and you're riding that wave and it's great for you, cool, keep doing that. Again, the critical thinking, I don't think most people don't use critical thinking. They don't like, again, I've said this many times, is like, if you want to get a dog or a cat, like if maybe some of you right now, you're like thinking, oh, I want to get a kitten, or I want to get a puppy. Okay, well, that's cool. So we don't forge ahead. What about the vet bills you'll have to pay? Oh, I don't care about that. Yeah, you don't care about it now. I get it, because, oh my God, you're going to drink all weekend? Yeah, worry about it. That's what we did as young kids, right? I can get out there. You got to go to work tomorrow. It's not a big deal, man. You don't care. So critical thinking, we forge ahead. We look, say, okay, well, if I'm going to get a dog or a cat, I'm more than likely going to watch it die. I'm going to be my heart's going to be torn apart, because that's what happens. And I may have to spend a lot of money on vet bills. That's what happens these days. That's the critical thinking. And then, so if you think about that before you go get it, well, then I think that's a huge advantage. Daniel's asking the question, is it that we give astrology power, or does astrology rule us? Well, it's both. It's an orchestration. There are things like, if I read your chart astrologically, I already know, I can see your blueprint. I don't know everything about you, but I have a very good understanding of how you operate on the daily, how you earn your money, or how you should be earning your money. If you're going to be in the spotlight or not, if you desire to be wealthy. Astrology is a foundation, because it's astronomy. It's a foundation that you can use. And then you can, at least when you see it, when it comes your way, maybe, just maybe, you have the opportunity to say yes or no on certain things that come your way. Like some of you have anger issues, but you don't pay any attention to that because you're in the habit of just getting angry and flying off the handle. That's not critical thinking, right? You're just in the habit of doing that. So when you look at your astrological chart, if it's in your chart and you say, oh, wow, so that may be the reason why. Okay, cool. So now maybe when you say, oh, they pushed my buttons or they pissed me off, well, your reaction to them pushing your button, maybe you don't react anymore next time. Work on not reacting. But you got to be consciously aware of that. Understanding your astrology chart and your numerology and your enneagram and your personality types and all that kind of stuff, that is where I feel you will have the very best life. Understanding your blueprint. Failure to do that, man, may keep you in these loops where you just don't have any critical thinking. Tied Up's asking, can you speak about the difficulty of being single? Well, I don't think being single is difficult at all. I think it's absolutely easy. Can you speak about the difficulty of being single and in solitude, and therefore lack the constant intellectual challenge and accountability that a partner may offer you? Well, let's just look at your avatar name and your picture. Tied up. What are you tied up from? Maybe you need to change that. And the image. You know, the reason why I chose the smiley face from my logo, because it's fun. It reminds me life's a joke. But is there any anger in there? No. There's no anger in the smiley face. So, to get to your question, I don't think that being single is difficult. I think that being in a relationship is difficult. And if I had to support that, I could easily do it because who am I going to argue with? There's not a chance that I'm going to argue with anybody when I wake up and go through my day. That is going to be a moot point. It's not going to happen. I don't argue with myself. I don't have to worry about someone complaining that I'm not doing a certain thing a certain way, not living up to their standards, not paying attention to them. There's no worry about that. So that's what I look at to support the single life. Now, is that always going to be that way for me? I don't know. I've let go of the handlebars and I'm keep pedaling and I've surrendered. And whatever comes about for me. So I'm just riding the wave. So I'm a gratitude junkie, right? Because this wave that I'm riding right now, is it permanent? I can't say for sure. So when I'm grateful for being alone and loving myself and putting my life to the fullest to do what I'm supposed to be doing and living out my best life in this moment and riding that wave, I'm going to squeeze every drop I can out of that. Because there's no guarantee that it will be like this for the rest of my life. I don't know. But I think it's all perspective. So if you feel like you need somebody to hold you accountable, well, then maybe you should look at your perspectives a little bit better. I don't think we need anybody for anything. Again, if you're by yourself, there's no complexity other than the complexity that you bring into your life by, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, I need a new of this, and there's been so many times that I've wanted to buy something. And I justify it. I'm like, I have my phone, this is a Samsung S10. This phone came out in 2019. It's over 6 years old. I love it. It's done great for me. I could easily get another phone. But I'm like, why? Why would I want to get another phone? Because we want to have the shiny new toy. It's that layer of reality where the grass is always greener. We want something else because we get tired of something that we have. And then we add complexity to our lives. I mean, if I were to go buy a new phone right now, and this one's perfectly fine, it's done me amazing. If I were to go buy a new phone, I'd have to spend the money on it. What if I dropped and broke it? I got to buy another one. There's always that chance. What is it going to do to change my life? What would a new phone do for my life right now? Well, it would be a distraction because what I would probably do is I would have to figure out the interface. I'd have to transfer everything over onto it. Things would be different. I would have to spend more time trying to figure it out, which is totally fine, right? But I don't have to do that because I wake up and I know what this thing does. So I get to focus on more on my simplicity of life, and my simplicity of life is complex enough. So I'm just riding the wave. And I would encourage you to do the same thing, but I would definitely change your name, your avatar name, and I think you're in handcuffs. I mean, I don't know. I think it looks like you're in handcuffs, your little avatar. I mean, what's that all about? But if you feel like you need a partner to hold you accountable, and then I would be asking the question, why don't you think you can do that yourself? And then you're just refusing to do it yourself. I mean, I get it. It's a tool, right? You'd be using the partner to hold you accountable. So now you're using that person. I don't know. That's just kind of how I look at it. Oh, you're making music. Okay, got it. Ashes to Ashes. Have I read Tracy? No, I don't know who that is. Dean Wi-Fi, or is it Wi-Fi? Whipfly? I don't know. Yeah, I met Jordan Maxwell in Las Vegas at a conference. And that was like, I wanted to go meet him. And as I was walking into the building, he was walking out. Nobody was around. So I got to take a photo with him and talk to him for a little bit. That was kind of cool. That was 2016 or 17, I think. Saved by Man says, get married 3 more times. No, I'm done with that. When I got married, I didn't use critical thinking. There wasn't any critical thinking going into that. Omega, that's somebody else, okay. Omega says the wedding ring is symbolic for one's commitment to the almighty hamster wheel. Totally concur. It's a contract. Marriage is a contract. And statistically, the odds are not in your favor. Statistically, of you staying forever. And Andrew Hernandez is asking, does Krishna relate anything to the Yod? Yeah, that's a Ponzi scheme, my friend. Krishna's tied to the sun. Krishna is 19 in Chaldean. I can't remember what it is in Sanskrit. I love the Gita, man. I love that book. It's awesome. I think Hinduism is, and on Buddhism and all that, they're very beautiful. They're very poetic. I mean, at this stage of the game, I think all religions are very cool and poetic. I just find them super, super, super interesting. Johnny Echo, anything wrong with never having children? Well, there's nothing wrong with having children. So I would say there's nothing wrong with not having children. It's just all perspective. See, again, we add these silly adjectives onto things. I say silly because we're in the habit of describing. Tell me about it. Like, why do people go to psychologists and therapists? Okay, what's going on? Tell me. And now you have to describe to the therapist all of the adjectives that are narrating your life. Well, this happened, and well, tell me about that. Well, it's because of this and this. It's complexity. It's complexity, man. So a therapist, a psychologist, they listen to your complexities in life. That's what they do. And whatever else they do after that. I'm not saying that they don't help people, because they do. But that's what they really do. They listen to your complexities. Simplify your life. Cut your complexities out. You know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Oscar Wilde, the great poet, he said, hell is holding on and heaven is letting go. What are you holding on to? Emotionally, physically? Some of you have clothes in your closet that still have the tags on them and you haven't worn them ever. But you won't get rid of them. Why? You haven't worn them in a year. How come? Yeah, maybe one day I'll wear it though. Well, maybe one day you won't. Somebody else could benefit from it. Get rid of it. Clean your life up. Our lives are cluttered enough. Complexity, severing ties. Ascension is severing ties with complexity. Mojave says, I can't understand why people want to talk to people more than God. Well, you are God. Everybody's the divine. So when you talk to another person, you're talking to the divine, straight up. That's at least my truth. Ashes to Ashes says, just like it said about Jesus, he emptied himself. Yeah, but you see that story, like there's beauty in that story. Simplifying your life, let thy eye be single. I value some of the teachings of that. But the big wrenches get thrown in when you add in the vampirism and the cannibalism. Then it just washes it all away. Completely. Like, I am the best version of myself and I follow no religions. I don't have a savior. And I'm the best version of myself. I'm not baptized, never done any of that stuff. Was involved in religion when I was younger. I've studied religion more than I ever have. I'm like a fanatic about it and I don't even follow it. I just think it's fascinating. So whatever works for you. I think a lot of people need an organized a religion to feel good about themselves. They like that pace of life. I mean, I've been to the mega churches and it's a feel-good place when you go there. At least the ones that I went to, they were awesome. Like-minded people were smiling, people were happy. I mean, it's contagious. So of course that you go there, you go to church to get your fix. Some people put a needle in their arm. Some people snort something up their nose or put something down their neck or smoke something to get their fix. Well, some people just show up at a church and they give hugs and handshakes and they sit in front of a pastor and they listen to the message and it makes them feel all good inside. And that's their fix. Whatever works for you. Yeah, good. It's called good energy. It's, yeah, God energy, good energy. Johnny's asking, does carrying crystals help? If you say so. See, the thing is that this is what's your question. So you ask the question, I do my best to provide you an answer, but sometimes I don't have an answer, and this is one of those times. Like, I have crystals. I got a piece of rose quartz here. I like the color pink. I always have. It's very soft. It's a pastel kind of color. But then I love black. I wear a lot of black. I got black. Obsidian and jet but I don't carry them. Well, do they do anything? Who the hell knows? I mean, they carry a frequency. So I would think scientifically they do. For sure. But only you can say, yeah, it does. It makes a difference. Okay, great. Then you don't need anybody else's opinion on whether they work, right? I mean, I think you know what I mean. I'm not trying to put down your comment. I just simply you asked a question. I would imagine you carry crystals around and you're looking for confirmation. That's what we do as human beings, I think. We all do it too, is we're looking for confirmation outside of us for validation. People like to get validated with their truths because then they feel like they belong to somebody else that's doing the same thing. Well, they're doing it. And now you're not alone. I think people are afraid to be alone. I really do. I think our world is programmed to have a fear of being alone. And I also feel that the world is programmed to be addicted to oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. That's my final answer. I've observed it enough in myself to say that. Magnets are great. Lane says, I sage my house. Awesome. I burn incense. I buy the incense sticks. I'm into smells. Mary says, I love being alone. I do too. You would think it's very selfish. Like I can play whatever music I want, as loud as I want. I can put my headphones in. I have zero distractions. I have no responsibility to anything else other than myself. There's no burdens to anybody. I don't have to burden anybody with my issues that I have, challenges that I have. It's just me. People say, what happens if something happens to you? I'll deal with it then. I'm riding this wave of being by myself right now, and I'm grateful that I have it because it may not last forever. I don't know. I think that if you can go through a period of being alone, falling in love with that, not needing anything from anybody else, I say there's a lot of power in that. And then, celibacy as well. It's been 3 years for me. Totally vulnerable. I can totally say I don't care what people think. It's been 3 years, man. You know, I mean, once you go there, it changes things, right? Because now you have an emotional attachment to somebody, which is not a bad thing. But now you just added a layer of complexity to your life. Because what ends up happening is you start thinking in chemistry and lust and desire, start having feelings for somebody, and now the amount of time that you would spend on whatever it is you're spending your time on has to be sacrificed to now pay attention to that person, which again, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying is that when you don't have that in your life, there's a lot of value. A lot of people think a lot about where am I going to get my next fix with, where am I going to get my orgasm from? Who's going to pay attention to me? Where am I going to get that kiss? How am I going to have somebody hold my hand? Oh my God, I need to feel this. I need someone to sleep in my bed. A lot of people are in the habit of that. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it consumes their lives to the point to where you go crazy. Johnny Echo, do AirPods harm our health? Some people say so. I mean, I wear them. I wear them at the gym. That's pretty much it. These are plug-ins. I have mine plugged in when I'm home and I'm decoding and I put my music on. I block out the outside world. I put these on, and these are not AirPods plugged into my mixer. But I wear them at the gym. I mean, folks, you're going to die one day, man. It's just like, it's kind of like this. This is how I look at AirPods. People say, oh, it's bad, and this is happening, and that's happening. Oh, there's always shit happening around you. Hello? So it's like, here's the thing about Mexico, right? They say that when you're born here in Mexico, wherever you're at in the world, you become immune to, you build an immune resistance up to whatever environment you're around, right? So this is the thing in Mexico. A lot of people from Mexico will tell you that if you're born here, the water doesn't affect you. Because a lot of people freak out. Don't put ice in the glass, because I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get, I don't want to get food poisoning. Montezuma's revenge. I don't want to get any of that, right? Well, people in Mexico, they don't have to worry about that because they've lived in this environment. They build an immunity up to it. That's the same thing as the AirPods. People are going to be using them, and you're going to build an immunity up to that. I'm not saying it's not going to be harmful. But you'll build people are already building. I mean, why are nobody complaining about the 5G towers anymore? Well, maybe there are. I don't know. I'm so naive to the mainstream. I don't really pay attention. I'm sure there's tons of videos on it still. But where's that now? How is that affecting your life? Like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to go chop them down? That's what I'm saying. Fighting the collective. You're adding so much complexity to your life, it's ridiculous. When you go fight the system, you have so much complexity to your life. And you'll never beat it, ever. Yeah, I know, but if we just come together as a group and... Yeah, but it starts with you. Not the group, it starts with you. Melinda says, going to bed in peace is the best. Yeah, absolutely it is. I have, maybe it's just because it is supporting my way of living. I have friends that are going through breakups right now. And when I hear these stories of how much of a nightmare they're going through right now, I turn to gratitude right away. And I'm just like, man, I put myself in that position and I'm like, wow, that's a tough life. Tough, man. Makes me grateful. Gratitude, man. Gratitude. Sarah Lynn says, I'm pregnant with the third baby, but I do wish I could focus more on myself instead of wanting his attention, because when I don't get it, it makes me sad. Yeah, so that's the thing. When you're in a relationship, right? At least this is how I would think. When you're in a partnership, it's supposed to be give and take. Like, that's how we're programmed. Like, that's kind of standardized, right? Like, we use each other for oxytocin and dopamine. That's standard, man. Once you get into the relationship, that's already signed, sealed, and delivered. That's like expected. And if you don't get that, what do we normally do? What do we program? We see it. We've been marketed to. They're cheating on me. I know they're cheating on me, man. They're making excuses. They have a headache. They're sick. They're cheating on me. And now this attachment is gonna drive you nuts. I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying is that this is what where our minds go to. When they just, if you have a partner that just like stops giving it up to you, your mind's gonna be like, what the hell's going on? And there may not even be a reason. But then your mind's like, oh my God, something's going on, and maybe that is happening. And then having to go through that, oh my God. That's the worst freaking complexity in life. So I get it, Sarah. Listen, if you're in a relationship, you're your third baby on the way, congratulations. Maybe that kid's going to grow up and save the world one day. That's how I look at it if you're a parent. So there is amazing things about that. But yeah, you like maybe start programming yourself of where you don't need somebody to rely on. But then, of course, that person, if you start detaching from your partner, where you start a little bit less and less relying on them for your feelings, they may start to think that you're doing something. And then you may have some disillusion or dissonance. So there's no win here. There's a contract, there's expectations by way of programming through society and what the movies tell us. And there's expectations automatically when you get into a relationship, but people don't think that way when they first get into it, because their surging of oxytocin and dopamine and serotonin is so high, they block, I don't care. Because you feel so good. And you really don't care. So I think that it's just, you got to make do with what you got. You know? Alyssa says, gratitude is right up there with love, if not higher. Gratitude is, in my opinion, is the number one thing to do. It's more important than anything else, I think. Because you could be grateful to be alone, and then you love yourself with no attachments. Like, it's a tall order, man, to do. Like, I have no partner. I really don't have a lot of friends. Don't really hang out with anybody. I spend a lot of time alone. I have outside cats. They're stray cats. I feed them, but they don't come in the house. I don't worry. I have no pets. I have no responsibilities. So I get to take all my time and share it with all of you. And do readings and break down code. And build this and build this and build this and build this and build. If I had somebody in my life, if I had to take care of this and take care of that, this would not be I wouldn't be able to give as much. So I'm grateful for that. Very grateful. Sarah says, my goal is to focus on myself and the kids. Congratulations, man. Like I said, if you're a parent and you have children, man, that's amazing. Like, I love kids. Without kids, there's no future. And kids are the greatest magicians because they don't have any resistance in their lives. And if I was a parent, I would be doing anything I can to figure out how that kid's coded, and I would encourage them to do what they want to do based upon what their code says and what they say they want to be when they grow up. That's the magic in being a parent. And I'm not even a parent, but that's what I would do. Tied Up's asking, is your destiny inevitable either way? I don't see it any other way. I mean, my current final answer right now, which could be subject to change, my own personal life. Like, you know, I know a thing or two about a thing or two. I have a lot of experience in code breaking. I've been doing this a long time. I'm consciously aware I have minimal attachments in my life, minimal responsibilities in my life, and my life is completely coded and scripted. I don't know how to say it any other way to some of you. Is that way for everybody from so far that I see? Yeah. But some people don't want it. No, not me. Okay, well, not you. That's totally fine. I'm not here to convince anybody. But I am suggesting that you study yourself as much as you can, so you know what you're getting yourself into. And there are some things such as trauma that you got to look at. What happened to you when you were a kid? You know, I've said this before. If you're in a relationship with somebody, for many of you, you lie to your partners, you'll justify it. And what I mean by lying is you won't tell them the truth because you'll feel like they won't accept you, or you just lied about it in the beginning and now there's no turning back and you couldn't tell them the truth. At least you don't think you could tell them because they wouldn't understand. They won't like you if you told them. So you're not being authentic. We're inauthentic human beings. Try to be authentic, but we're not. That's the imperfection in this code. That's what causes drama. You know, I put on this, what I like to do is when I eat my food, if I make a meal, I sit down in this chair, throw on like Amazon Prime or whatever, and put my headphones in and just eat and watch and try to pick up on things, try to look for messages. So I put on a show that I never turn on. It's called Nip Tuck. I don't even watch it. But when I turned it on, it was so dramatized. I had a hard time watching it. It was like over dramatic. But I'm like, man, this is what really people do. Shit like this happens all the time. And I'm like, that's so complex. I just was like, I couldn't even watch I couldn't even watch it. I had to fast forward and because it was too much drama. It was like turbocharged drama. And then all the marketing of being in that lifestyle, I could see why people get lost. And they strive to be that of what they're being marketed to. Joe Star says on the Astrology, what represents Earth? Well, you do. You become the center point. Everything's focused on you, the chart, right? The chart's above. So it's coming down onto you. So you're getting the energy pushed at you based upon the presence of the things outside of you. If that makes any sense. Yeah, Nip Tuck was very sexualized. It was. Absolutely. But it was so dramatic. I was like blown away. I hadn't seen anything that dramatic. You know, like if I I watch reruns of like The Office because I just like that comedy. I like watching detective stuff. But that was like way over dramatic for me. I just was like, nah, no thanks. But it reminded me, and it made me, I look at the value of seeing that dramatization. And this is what people subject themselves to. And then they get into a hypnotic trance, if you will. I mean, that's what light does. I mean, that's what the sun and moon does. Puts you in a trance. Joe Star's asking about the gene keys. Yeah, Richard Rudd's stuff. It's good. It's just another tool, right? It's a spin-off of the human design. I like all that stuff. It's great. I like the Enneagram a lot because it's super accurate. If you go to the Cosmic Sugar website, I have it on there. There's a test to take, free, to kind of narrow down your type. You can read about the types after you get your test results to ensure that that's really what your type is. Oh, Bashir's is having a Vegas event? I didn't even know about it. When? When is it? I got to do my own event. I will tell all of you this, that when I went to the Acapulco, I got invited to that event because of two very special people that are now my good friends, Roel and Miranda. You probably don't even know who that is. That's okay. But Roel is a queen of clubs, so he resonates a lot with my work, and Miranda's a seven of diamonds, so she also resonates a lot with my work. They got me to that event, and Miranda has been doing the Acapulco event for like a decade. So she has all this experience about the production, and I'm like, oh my God, let's do an event together. She's like, yeah. So we're talking about it, and I think it's going to happen. And so I already threw this out there to the community about doing one here in Mexico. I think this area, the Cancun area, is a great area to do one because it's pretty easy to fly into. It's a major airport. Who doesn't like coming to Mexico? It's the Caribbean. It's beautiful. There's a lot to do here. There's retreats you can do. You can get with a shaman here. I think that's what we may end up doing. But I want to, we want to do our own event, and so that's on the table, which is great. So more to follow on that. But I didn't know Jason's doing an event in April 12th. Oh shit. It's a month away, huh? Where is he having it at? I could go. I was supposed to go to LA, but so it's on a Saturday. Maybe. Where's it at? Anybody know? I'm sure somebody knows where it's at. I'd have to talk to. I haven't talked to Bashir's in a while. I should probably call him and see what's up. Golden Nugget. Okay, downtown. That's awesome. He got me really inspired to get out there and do the events because he's been really hustling and doing them. And then when I got to do the San Diego event with him last year, that was a lot of fun. Got to meet some cool people. So, he's got the tickets. Who's going to be speaking there? Parents take over Vegas. I love Las Vegas. I used to live there. It's a great town. So much to do, especially the hiking at Red Rock. They got great food that'll just make you decay a lot faster because there's just so much shit in the food these days. All right, let's see. Let me click on the link here and see. What do we got? See, he's happy. He's making it happen, man. He's got the whole production thing. April 12th, 9 to 5. Downtown. $276. That's a cool price. That's a good price. That's fair. Yeah, no, it looks like he's just going to be speaking the whole day. Is that what he's doing? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Pamela would know. Pamela, what's going on with that? Yeah, Nuggets downtown though. I may go. I'm supposed to be in LA. So, but maybe. We'll see. I don't know if 276 is one of Jason's numbers. Well, I know he'll be speaking, but is he speaking the whole day or is he bringing anybody else in? I don't know. I mean, if he's talking the whole day, I don't know. I mean, I don't think everybody can listen to me talk for the whole day. So a little diversity. I mean, when we do our event, there's going to be multiple speakers, not just me yapping myself. It's got to be diversity. Oh, he's the only one speaking? I don't know. Not that I want to crash the party or anything like that. I just think diversity. I got it. Like the Acapulco was great because you get an hour, then you get to go do many little things with people and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Omega says if you showed up, Jason would give you the mic. Yeah, but I wouldn't just show up on a whim. I would call and talk to him first. I wouldn't want to show up just to show up and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think Jason does an amazing job. He's super intellectual. He has a gift to gab. His mind is just incredible. I'm just not into the historicity like he is. I don't like the way he does it and all that stuff. But he's super intelligent. That's what I value about him. I really respect his work. And he's got his own little niche with the office. Tied Up's asking, what is your interpretation of the Genesis 1 verses 26? The Elohim, let us make man in our image. Plural, let us. The council. Well, part of me, I mean, the numerology of that in Chaldean, the full scripture is 160, and that's tied to Ra. But part of me links it to the fallen ones. A lot of the information now that's coming my way is linking the creation of man, this race anyway, to the underground aliens. And I know that a lot of people won't accept that. I'm not saying it's true, but a lot of the code that I'm being shown links to that. Like it links directly to mankind. I mean, if you just study John 8 verses 44, where Jesus says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and you will do the works of him." And so who's the Diabolo? Well, you could tie it to Adam or Adam. But a lot of the stuff's coming. It's going right to the moon and the fall. And now that we've done the Area 51, that has opened up these doors that I can't close now. The 51, now I know what it means, and now I can see it, and now I can't unsee it, and I don't know what to do with it. Because when you start studying the races, like I don't look Chinese, do I? Do I look Japanese to you? Do I resemble a Chinese or a Japanese person at all from that side of the world? Do I look Asian? Do I look like I'm from Africa? So how do you get those cultures out of two people? I don't buy it. I just don't buy it, man. It doesn't make any logical sense. Not the critical thinking. It doesn't fit into the context of that. So let us make man in our image, and Psalms 82 verses 6, the council sitting before God, if you will. Even in the architect in the Matrix, when you listen to his story, what does he say? This will be the 6th time that we destroyed Zion. He doesn't say me, he says we. Now, I'm not saying that's the authority, but that coincides with let us make man in our image. You know, Yahweh doesn't even come on the scene until the 2nd book of Genesis. It's Elohim in the 1st chapter. The entire thing, it's Genesis 2 verses 4, I think. Think about it, logic and critical thinking. If you're the creator of this reality, why would you wait to put yourself in the 2nd chapter of your book? Why would you not put yourself in the 1st chapter? Since you're talking about God created the heavens and the earth, it doesn't say Yahweh, it says Elohim. That's all I can go by. I can't go by anything else. And it strictly says that. I don't know. You would think that if you create something, would you not put yourself in the credits? I'm not buying it, man. Something's up. Tied Up's asking about the knowing good and bad part. Well, I have a decode. My next decode for the Patreon members, it's on eternal life. The next one I'm doing, it's on the topic eternal life. And I go into Genesis 3 verses 22, where it talks about the Lord. It says the Lord God in Genesis, in Hebrew now, it says the Lord God. It'll say Yahweh Elohim. Now it adds Yahweh to Elohim. And Yahweh Elohim says, now man has become one of us. It uses the word us again. Knowing good and evil. Okay, well, wait a minute. How come I can't know good and evil, but you can? I don't get that part. So we have restrictions. And then it goes on to say, I can't let him take the tree of life as well with the tree of knowledge, because then he'll have eternal life. I'm not allowing man to have eternal life in duality. That's what it means. You don't get to live eternally in duality. That's what the scripture means. And again, it's a story. I wasn't there. Don't know who wrote it. We can code break it. That's it. But it's tied right to the whole rituals of Jesus, man. The most bulletproof story in theology in the world. You would never think that would be perhaps something to reincarnate you. This is how my mind works, okay? Let's hypothetically say that we were created underground by a set of aliens that came from a different planet. Maybe there were no humans on this planet. Maybe we got wiped out. And then a set of aliens come to this planet, and they end up creating mankind based upon their technology. I mean, we're doing the gene splicing now, and that's how far our technology is. So you think these people are so advanced, they create, and then they create a book. Because now why did they create you as a slave race? And they are harvesting your energy, your emotions, and your food. So all the children that go missing, yeah, every time somebody has a child, there's an opportunity. That's food. I know it's crazy, right? But is it a thing? Maybe. So you bring into this culture a book. In this case, the most popular spell book in the world, the Bible. You bring the book in there, and the story goes, you tell the truth, that there was a fallen race, that came here, they mated with the women, and they're the Nephilim. You tell that, right? So you make it believable. You create an antagonist, and then you create the cure for the chaos. this guy named Jesus comes on the scene, and you drink his blood and you eat his body, the Eucharist, and you'll be saved. But what if this race created that so you will worship the Jesus Christ character, but that's going to lead you to more slavery because that leads you to the same destination as what they originated in the first place? That was the whole point of it. To provide you a bulletproof story that you would never question because it's so beautiful. And the reward that you get is eternal life. That's what Jesus offers you in John 3 verses 15. Eternal life. That's exactly what the serpent offers you as well, because in Genesis 3 verses 5, the serpent says, what are you talking about? God says you'll die. You will not die. Well, is that not the same thing as eternal life? To me, it is. So something's fishy about this thing. Eternal life to me is the samsara wheel, man, never getting off. I mean, in the layer of suffering. I don't know. But if there's an advanced race that are running things here, then they are allowed to run things here, obviously. Because if you're God and you knew they were running things, wouldn't you take them out? Like, are you going to allow that in your garden? What do people do when they have some kind of insect in their garden? Oh, I don't want it eating my garden, so what am I going to do? I'm going to spray pesticides to kill the insects. Or I'm going to get ladybugs to eat the aphids. That's just you with your garden, man. So if you're not going to allow a foreign invader to come into your garden to eat your garden up, if you wouldn't do that, and you're an imperfect human being trying to protect your garden, why does the God would allow the reptilians to come here and invade this place and do what they're doing? When it knows good and well what's going on. You know good and well that the insects are eating your rose bushes, and you're not going to let that happen. So you'll do whatever it takes to get rid of the aphids and whatever's invading your garden. Well, that's not what's happening in our garden, if this is what this is about, an invasion. So there's no protection going on. It's allowed to happen. So there's that to the story as well. So this is just how my mind works, folks, is that like to build a bulletproof story, you would need a bulletproof story that no one would ever question. They would be given an opportunity to make a choice. And obviously, the better choice out of the two options is following the way of Jesus Christ and drinking his blood and eating his body and praying and wearing the cross, going to church and pledging to those idols, those ideas, doing those rituals, which are all pagan anyway. When you're doing the Passover, see, people don't use critical thinking. The Passover is when the sun is setting and it's the first full moon of the month. Hello, man, I already just told you what the dragon and beast are. It's the sun and the moon, and you're worshiping that and pledging to the Christ while you go there and say, take my sins away, please. And the god of the moon is called sin, which is obviously it's the beast in Revelation 13 verses 1. That's very clear now. So when you start to see all these things, ladies and gentlemen, I just don't buy it, man. The story's too bulletproof. I just don't buy it anymore, man. I just don't. Not me. Something's missing. And when something's missing, when there's doubt, well then there's going to be doubt. Pseudonym saying, so Logan's saying there's a perfect garden, but there has to be predators. No, okay. You know what the Garden of Eden is? Do you know what it's tied to? Let me just show all of you right now. I'm going to clarify this so you can see. You can see what I'm talking about. Just so you can see. So I want you to see it. And then you make the determination on what you think it is. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Give me a second. Give me a second, folks. Patience, patience. Forgot what I had it under. I have so many folders, I can't remember where I put it. Is it Tree of Life? Yeah, here it is. There you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. Right there. That's the numerology of Garden of Eden. Right from Hebrew, from the original language of where the story came from. Now, if you're not a code breaker, you may shrug this off and be like, a lot of things can equal 51. Well, I got way more to go that I've already created. And yes, a lot of other things equal 51, but I'm telling you right now that the Garden of Eden is tied to Area 51. That's what it's tied to. And this is what I'm being led to be shown right now. And if you go to Genesis 5 verses 51, right? This is the scripture saying, this is the book and the genealogy of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness and image of God, he created him. Yeah, well, this is saying that man got created underground. Aliens. The synchronicities on these things that I'm being shown right now will blow your mind when I come out with them. They're going to blow your mind. That's all I'm going to show you. But that's the numerology of it. And that's why I'm telling you that book is so perfect and it provides you a way out. But the way out to me is the way back in. So you don't leave. See, you offer a bulletproof story of being relieved of the burden. But it just leads you right back into being recycled. Pseudonym must be new here, I guess. The story, my friend, the story has holes in it like crazy. So there's no confusion if you've been paying attention. This is the first time I've seen your name here, so you must be new, and so, you haven't been paying attention or following along, and I'm not saying that to belittle you or to put you below anybody or anything or say I'm superior here. But what I am saying that if you haven't been following this research, then I can see why you would say that, why you have these thoughts. I mean, we're all ignorant. So when you're ignorant in something, meaning you just don't have the knowledge or you don't have the eyes to see it, then you're going to make your conclusions, you're going to draw your conclusions from something else. So there is no confusion once you have the eyes to see. There is only confusion when your eyes are closed. Dr. Zom says, what's the point of religion? Why was it created for people? Because people like to belong to organizations. Again, folks, religion. Is it a harvesting thing in our world? All of the energy that religion provides, something's getting it. So people, they belong to religions because it makes them feel good about themselves. They need something to validate their feelings, or they need something to save them. See, if there was no such thing that has ever come into our reality about the story of Jesus coming and being put on the cross and dying for your sins and shedding the blood, if that story was removed, what would our world look like? Do you think people would just become running around amok, going crazy, stabbing each other and killing each other? And you think the world will be worse? No, not a chance. I don't think so. Cindy says to control you. Well, I mean, doesn't life control us? If it's not one thing, it's the next, right? But again, it's an attachment. See, as I said before, and I know a lot of you would agree with this, is that there would be no purpose of religion if there was not a devil that got created. So let me give you a perfect example. Here's one using the body. So let me just address some questions, and you'll answer this question as I ask you, right? So I'm going to ask you, what the first thing that comes to your mind? What created the human being? What created the Homo sapien? And I would say the majority would be like, God did. Okay, great, fair enough, easy peasy, right? So let's keep it simple. So what created the human race? God did. Perfect. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like. Let's just chalk it up. It's easy. It's God. Okay, cool. Great. Well, what created the heart? What created the lungs? What created the fingernails? What created the eyeballs? What created the senses? God did. God did. God did. God did. Great. Awesome. Okay, let's be a little more specific. What created the immune system? What created the white blood cells? Well, God did, of course. God did. God did. Yeah, great. What's the purpose of the immune system? Why did God create the immune system? What is the immune system for? Like we know the heart pumps the blood. What does the immune system do? The immune system protects your body from foreign invaders coming in. Bacteria, fungi, viruses, whatever, right? That's what the job of the immune system is. So if God created the immune system for the purpose of protecting the body, my next question is, what created the bacteria and viruses and fungi and all the invaders that come into the body? Would your answer change and deviate away from saying God created those things? I would hope not, because God would not have a reason to create the immune system unless he had the forethought that, like, I better create the immune system because there's going to be foreign invaders. You already knew that there were going to be foreign invaders coming into the body, and so therefore you protect the body by building the immune system. Well, if God is everything, that means that God is also the fungi and the bacteria and the viruses that invade the body. It's so easy to see this, man. I mean, what are we to say? The devil created the bacteria, viruses, and fungi and all the foreign invaders? Because then we have to stretch out and saying that the devil created the praying mantises and the predators and the lions and the wolves and all that kind of stuff that take down and eat things and destroy and kill. So the immune system is no different than something that protects its young in the wild. The white blood cells were created by God, just like God created the bacteria and the fungi and the viruses that invade the body. There cannot be any other way around it. If we're going to say that God created the immune system, People don't want to have these conversations, though. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't want to have these conversations, but why would you not want to talk about this when they're so obvious? Our reality, folks, is based on predator-prey, man. Your white blood cells become a predator, right? Because as soon as bacteria invades the body, what does the immune system do? It becomes a predator. It starts to attack the bacteria, viruses, et cetera, what's coming into the body. Well, where did that shit come from? So the white blood cells, the immune system, become the predator, and the prey become the foreign invaders that come in to challenge the body, to take you down. Free radicals. Who created free radicals that destroy the body? God did, of course. I just don't see it any other way. I can't think that the devil created free radicals. I mean, that's absurd. You could say free radicals are the devil. Of course you could postulate that. I think it's definitely easy to say that. But if we're going to say God created the human being and everything about the human being, then we definitely we shouldn't be saying, well, God didn't create the bacteria, virus, fungi, parasites. We should not be saying that, oh, well, except for those though. No, when they're I got a cat outside right now who's got mange, which is like scabies. Who made the scabies? You think the devil created scabies? And God just created the cat, but the devil created scabies. Come on, man. Where's the common sense and logical, critical thinking here? It's so easy to see this, man. These are conversations that they involve critical thinking, but this is simplicity. I don't know, man. I mean, it's just, go have a conversation with your friends about that, about the white blood cells and who created that and who created, what would the purpose be? Well, if you created the white blood cells, what's the objective? I mean, have that conversation and, well, let's switch gears. Cat's Incredulous says, Logan, Bob Dylan and Katy Perry said they created a deal with the devil to get what they did. What is the antithesis of the devil? Desire. You made a deal with desire. That's it. Why do we have to attach so many things to it? It's desire, man. The ego. You want to see what they look like in the tarot? I've shown this before, but those of you that are new, this is how beautiful the tarot is. The devilish tarot. I know some people, oh my God, I'm out of here. You're using tarot cards. See you later. The word soul. Like you have a soul. The word spirit. They both, in numerology, they both equal the number 19. And then the word ego equals the number 15. Here they are in the tarot. The sun is the spirit, your soul. And then when the sun comes down to earth and becomes matter, it becomes its own adversary. Light slowed down into physical matter, and now you get the devil. And the devil is your ego. That's why if you watch the show Lucifer, Thomas John Ellis constantly says, what do you desire? That's what this whole reality is about. You say, what am I going to do today? Oh, I want to do this. Anytime you say, I want to go do this, that's your desires. And every desire leads to more decay. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I spend a ridiculous amount of time in front of the computer screen. Is it healthy? No. Because I get EMFs coming off the screen. I sit for long periods of time. Not healthy for my circulation. But I do it to sacrifice so I can pump out videos. Why? Because my desire, I get a reward by doing the decodes. I get to find shit. I'm being used to be a code breaker. My little devil is code breaking. You're being used for your desires in your life. That's what makes us decay, is desire, man. So if you're not humping and screwing and having sex and holding hands and kissing and rubbing this and that, if you're not doing that stuff and you've gotten rid of that desire, you'll move it into something else. I talked about this on Let's Talk About the Love Trap. I made it very clear. It's just, this is not difficult to think about here. These are easy things to talk about and think about and create logic around. CJ says everything is ego. Absolutely. The ego starts with the letter E. The number 5. E is the 5th letter. 5 fingers, 5 toes, 5 senses. What do you use your 5 senses with? Your desires. Oh, I want to fall in love. I want to feel. Using one of your senses. Oh, touch me here. Using one of your senses. Let me use my taste buds. I want to listen to some good music. These are our desires. The 5 senses. That's E, as in evolution, as in ecosystem. And when you start to look at the code that's hidden in the Bible, you're going to see that it's the yod and the hey is the 5. It's the desire of the divine. And you're a projection onto the screen, man. Like God's looking through the screen and the screen produces light and the light projects you and there you are, and then it gets to run you through your desires. And everybody has desires. You're not just going to sit in a room and twiddle your thumbs and do nothing for the rest of your life. No, boredom gets in the way of that. Even the monks that we talked about earlier, even they have desires that they end up feeding into. I have the desire to be a monk. That's a desire. Oh, but that's different than I want to go have sex with somebody. There's consequences on everything. It's cause and effect. Black suit, spicy. Any thoughts on GG33? Gary, the numbers guy, I think you're talking about. No, he's just what I know about Gary, the numbers guy, I don't watch his content. He uses numerology and he's using Chinese astrology. That's about the brunt of it, I think. To me, that's very limiting, but he's very good at what he does. He has his own methodologies. That's it. I mean, he's just doing his code. I don't follow him, so I don't really know anything about him. I just know that he does numerology and mainly Chinese astrology. Yeah, Ultraviolet Femme says every desire leads to more decay. How could it not be? Again, the amusement of Yes Man, that movie by Jim Carrey, like when you watch it, it's such a feel-good movie because they offer you in the beginning, no, depression, anxiety, no. You end up getting into the character of Jim Carrey and you can feel and see his negativity and depression and anxiety. And then they flip the story and meets this girl and he says yes to everything and his life changes. It's a feel-good story, right? Talk somebody off a ledge. I mean, it's obviously heavily dramatized. But that's every time they sell you that. They've sold you. They provide you the villain, which is saying no. And they offer you the angel, which is saying yes. It's called, it should have said Yeshua, man. I mean, Jim Carrey has the JC initials. I mean, it's ridiculous. He was born on the 17th of January, which is the star card. The 10 of diamonds card, which is today's card of all cards. 10 of diamonds is fortunate blessings card. It's Bob Proctor. I got a decoder coming out on Bob Proctor, who I'm a huge fan of. I mean, the guy was marketing how to become rich, not just financially, but overall. So he's selling the law of attraction. You can attract and have everything you want. Oh my God, now I can. And of course, most people that study that material, they don't have the success that he projected because they don't have his code. They want it to be that because they look at him, that's the desire. Oh my God, I want to be rich. Oh my God, I want to have financial freedom. Oh, I want to have this car. I want to have this house. I want to live wherever I want. They listen to the stories. Yeah, we started studying Bob Proctor stuff and we bought a house and we never looked at, and they start, what are they doing? They're handpicking select people that have the success stories, because most people don't have the success stories. They handpick them. That's called marketing, and they're marketing to you the success stories, and that's yes, man. Oh my God, I want to have the house. Oh my God, I want to have financial freedom. I want to be rich. I want to find the person of my dreams. And they start to show you people that do it, and then you become a believer in it. Oh, I got to have that. And you'll compare it to your life. My life sucks. It's not that good. I don't have what I want. But they have it, and they did it, so I can do it. Oh, hold on, not so fast. Okay, go do it. And then you start having the success as that person has. And what happens? Now you start having attachments and attachments and attachments and attachments. And now you may start marketing, going out there and selling your life to somebody else, because they're going to say, oh my God, I love what you do. How are you doing it? How did you become wealthy? You see that kid on YouTube, he goes around and he starts interviewing millionaires and billionaires. Hey, how'd you make your money? And he's selling you a story on how you can do what they're doing. Attachment. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I've done countless readings for people, and I've done readings for millionaires. I've done readings for billionaires. I'm not telling you that to brag. I'm just telling you the context of the people that I've done readings for. I've seen it all, man. I'm a fan of life. I'm a fan of code. I'm a fan of what people do because they can't help it. So when I tell you I'm a minimalist, I'm not telling you that so you can run out and be a minimalist. I'm not telling you it's the gravy train way to live life, because it's not for everybody. If you're somebody who's supposed to be a philanthropist and you're looking at me and you're like, but you're a minimalist, man. I don't even resonate with that. That's a shit life. Yeah, because you're supposed to be a philanthropist. That's the code you got. So why would you ever say that you'd want to do my life? So my life is not for everybody. It's actually a niche life, my life. It's very, very different than how most people live their lives. And the structures and the things I suggest to the audiences here, they're paradoxes, they're contradictions. Life's a contradiction. You got to figure out, that's why it's so important to decode yourself. Because once you know how you're coded, you may just I don't even want to listen to Logan anymore, because it goes against the fabrication of what my code is. Mr. Biscuits, is it possible to manifest anything in this reality? My answer would be no. Not possible. Can the mind supersede the code? No. Don't think it's possible. Am I wrong? If you say so. You know, this is why I put the disclaimers in front of the majority of my videos. These are my opinions and truths. People, they forget that stuff. I haven't had any out-of-body experiences tied up. I don't do those. The best you're going to get out of me is I had an amazing dream last night. That's my out-of-body experience. Marco says Ty Lopez. Yeah, you know, like a lot of people don't like Ty Lopez. I'm neutral. I don't care. But when I look at his life, I bet I could go to his astrological chart. I'll bet that all that stuff he's doing is in his chart. The guy can't help it. He's crushing it. But people hate him for it. They don't like what he's doing. What's up, Alonzo? Nice to have you back. How to decode yourself? Well, I mean, if you go to my channel and you go to the playlists, I have a how-to series. There's a few videos in there. I have a course coming out that will show you how to decode yourself from top to bottom on many different layers. Ty Lopez is he's an entrepreneur. Successful entrepreneur, multiple businesses, very good at marketing. Sells courses on how to become wealthy. So, you know, like, this is the ridiculousness of our reality. I look at, we're all agents in some way, some shape, or some form, because you're selling something. What are you selling? Your lifestyle. So most people are selling how to become more engrossed into the matrix, how to become more complicated as an individual. See, the Agent Smith doesn't need to defend the matrix if you're engrossed in it and you're playing and you're really knee deep into it. He doesn't even worry about you. The everyday person, they're so engrossed in their lives and they're so heavily invested in the matrix and they're marketing it for free. Oh my God, how did you do that? Oh, let me sit down and tell you. I'll tell you exactly how I did it. And you can't help it. That's how ridiculous our reality is. You're just following your screenplay. Isaac, what's up, man? Do you think we live out different codes and different timelines? Yeah. I mean, I don't think our lives are cookie cutter every single time. If we reincarnate and never get out of this reality, which just may be a possibility, I think that we would change characters, but you'll never know. I don't remember. Do you remember? I don't remember. I don't remember how I got here. I don't remember entering this world. Tied Up's asking about the Orion Wars. I haven't really researched that stuff, but it's interesting stuff. Johnny says life is but a dream. Yeah, I mean, the dream is tied to the moon. The word dream is the same numerology as camera. Like lights, camera, action. Camera and dream are both 16. What's the camera? The moon. That's why it's the great beast. Which gets all the energy tonight because it's a full moon, which means the sun is directly across from the moon. That's why it's full. Pamela's got the wrench out tonight, man. See the full, you know what happens on the full moon? Lunatics come out. People become lunatics. No, I haven't watched the Showtime children's show. I haven't watched that. Nick saying, why don't you decode the Santeria Orishas? Never really. Santeria, the religion? Dr. Zabam, do you think famous people are more important to the overall code? Well, you could postulate that. It's a very interesting question. I would think that the more of a position you have, like if you're somebody who's like Rockefeller, David Rockefeller, does he have a more important code than? I'll just use me as the example. If you compared his life to mine, well, what does he have that what did he have that I don't have? A lot of money. And when you have a lot of money, you can offer people jobs. You could pay their salaries. And with their salaries, you'll put a roof over their head. And when you put a roof over their head, they may hump and have a baby to create another offspring. See, I'm just thinking the opposite of that. No more children, please. But I think that if you start to compare, which is what we do, you'll see that people that have the high positions, that are very wealthy, they can provide jobs, they can provide people places to live because they pay their salaries and they make more players. So yeah, you could definitely postulate that if you have a high position, that position may be, more beneficial to the game or matrix itself than someone that just really doesn't have. Like if you compared it to somebody who's just a drug addict in the streets, I mean, you're just surviving. You're not really affecting anybody's life but your own, and you're decaying, and you can't offer somebody a job. You're not going to pay someone's salary. You're not going to give anybody an opportunity to make a family. So, yeah, if you compared those two lives, then obviously you could see the comparison. Step into flow. What's going on? Have I seen the series Prime Target? I have not. I haven't. Santeria is not a religion. It's a practice within a religion. Well, whatever. Are we able to decode our death day? I've never been able to do it. There's too many options for that. So I would say no. That would be a big fat no. Johnny Echo, make an Andrew Tate decode. I have no interest in that guy. Some people I just don't have. I just like, that doesn't, I don't get any desire for that. Marco, do you think dreams are us peeping out those timelines as they're occurring? I mean, it's up for anything, man. Anything's possible. I don't know. Like, you know what I postulate here is that when you go to sleep tonight, are you in control? The answer is no. I know some people say, yeah, but I lucid dream it. But you're still not in control because you're sleeping. Force yourself to wake up then. So if the answer is you're not in control when you're sleeping, why do you think you're in control when you're awake? critical thinking. Yeah, I mean, if you want to start doing some kind of cool stuff, I've said this before, I'll say it again, but you can take your birth card and put it by your bedside and see if anything happens. See if you have any dreams. I've had people give me some positive feedback in big ways when they take their card and put it by their bedside. Not of this world. What about children who claim to remember their past lives? Yeah, I mean, there's some like really interesting kids that I've even listened to. So there is that. I mean, I'm not going to say they're wrong. Johnny Echo, some people become good at lucid dreaming and controlling them. Yeah, but they're still sleeping. That's the whole point. You're still sleeping. Then don't go to sleep. Don't ever go to sleep again. That's my point. Stay up for the rest of your life. Don't go to bed. You'll notice you can't do that. Even the meth addicts end up crashing at some point. Can't stay up forever. Try doing that. It's not possible. It's just like it's not possible to not think. Oh, I know, I'll meditate and I'll focus on my breath. Well, that's you thinking about focusing on your breath. Silly. Your mind is not designed to not think. Your body's not designed to not go to sleep. You have to. It's like mandatory. And when you go to sleep, you're not in control. So when you wake up, why do you think you're in control then? Because you're awake? Well, now I can move my arms, so I'm in control now. Angela's asking about the telepathy tape podcast. I haven't. All right, well, I'll talk about some cards. Some of you want to know how that works. So all of you can have access to this free on the Cosmic Sugar website, cosmicsugar.org. Just go to the resource tab and there'll be a download which will contain several different, like this, the calendar, the card chart, the birthday chart. This is a system, and it's an absolute masterpiece oracle system. And all you have to do is, like, over here to the right, this, it's the master life side. This is your ego. Another word for life is ego. So all you have to do is locate your birth card. If you don't know how to locate your birth card, you go to it'sallinthecards.com. Go to this website right here. It'sallinthecards.com. ITS. It'sallinthecards.com. It'sallinthecards.com. And then you just scroll down here and you click on your birthday. So June 25th. 5 of clubs. Interesting. It's the freaking moon card too. 18th card in the deck. God, ridiculous. Anyway, so you then come to the chart, and there's the 5 of clubs right here. So it sits in the Mercury Saturn line. Mercury, Saturn. And then you just come over here to the spirit side, and you just locate that same space. And it's the 5 of hearts. So the 5 of hearts is your spirit card. Now you would say, well, how do I get that card? Well, when you're at the website, there's a little hack that you can do. You got to come up to the address here, and you can see right under my cursor there, right above it is 5C. That stands for 5 clubs. So I'm looking for the 5 of hearts. So I'm just going to change the letter C to the letter H. So we come up here. It's going to highlight it. You got to hit it twice. And now you just do a backspace where the C is, and I type in the letter H. It has to be lowercase. Hit enter, and now it'll take you right to the 5 of hearts. So if it's a heart, it'll be H. If it's a club, it'll be C. If it's a spade, it'll be S. And if it's a club, if it's a diamond, it will be D. Okay? It's just that simple. That's the little hack that you can do. And you'll get your 2 cards. I mean, we were talking about the moon, right? We're talking about Area 51. Well, isn't it interesting that card 51 sits right in the dead center of this entire chart? And then this is card 34, and 34 on the periodic table is called selenium, which is the moon. So this is the moon line right here. This pillar is the moon line. The moon. The moon. I would think it's the sun, the moon, Earth. I mean, I created this a long time ago without knowing that, but then knowing it. Sun on the left, moon in the middle, Earth on the right. All right? Simple, simple, simple stuff. Desktop Geeks asking about the life path number 9. Well, I'm a life path number 9 in the pre-Gregorian calendar. I resonate more with the pre-Julian calendar than I do the Gregorian life path. But I'm a 9 life path, and the 9 life path is the hermit. It doesn't have to be. There are people that are not for the utopian side of things, and they are 9 life paths. So they are a dystopian 9 life path. That's the code they got. But if you're a 9 life path and you're working for the utopian side, well, I mean, for me, I'm a hermit. The 9 is a hermit. You spend a lot of time alone. Life kind of gets boring in a sense. It's a many lives, many masters kind of energy. Even if you're born on the 9th, if you have a 9 of clubs, 9 of diamonds, 9 of spades, these are many lives, many masters kind of energy. Now, I can't prove that statement, like, I've been around many, many times, but that's just kind of the energy that's kind of follow with the 9s. The 9 is the culmination of the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9's at the very end. It's the hermit in the tarot for good reason. It's the sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Zeus, the king of the gods. It's the monkey in Chinese. The monkey is supposed to be one of the smartest animals. So you can easily take Chinese astrology and convert it into the life paths. It's really easy to do. If you're an 8 life path, that's the greatest of all time, the goat, Scorpio, Pluto, Mars. 7's the horse. 6 is the snake. 5 is the dragon. 4 is the rabbit. 3 is the tiger. 2 is the ox. 1 is the rat. I mean, it's once you have them all memorized and you then synchronize it with the zodiac wheel, the true sidereal now, not tropical, not that system, because that's not really accurate to the canopy, well, then you can easily start to identify with so many different things. Like, keep in mind, this year, for everybody, this is a Virgo year. So somebody could easily say to you, right? Someone who's a reader, or if you have and when I say Virgo, right? Virgo's the 6th zodiac sign. How is it a Virgo year? Because in Chinese, it's the snake, and the snake is sign number 6. So we can easily say this is the year of the Virgo energy. So if you have a lot of Virgo energy, not just, well, I got my Mercury there. Okay, great. So the way you think is through Virgo. Well, I got my sun there. So this could be a year for you to increase your communication, to increase your thinking if you have Mercury there. If your Jupiter's in Virgo, well, this may be a year for you to expand based upon family or whatever you're paying attention to. It just depends on what's in Virgo, but this is the Virgo year this year because it's the year of the snake. I would definitely keep in mind what's coming in September. The end of September, the zodiac sign of Virgo is going to be stacked. A lot of energy is going to be in Virgo at the end of September. Could something happen during that time period? Potentially. Stacked, man. I'll show you. We'll go to the Stellarium app. I have to reset this. Let me just get the ecliptic here. Let me just show you. So as we head into September, this is the focal point. It's going to be Virgo. Right? As we head into September, and right around the 25th, I think, she's going to be, well, I mean, the moon's going to be, there's going to be a new moon around the 22nd, and you have Mars, the moon, Mercury, and the sun all in the sign of Virgo, which is the snake in Chinese, and that's the year we're in. There's a heavy emphasis right now on the snake, and then Venus comes in around the beginning of October. Mars is leaving, though, but I would really keep my eyes out for September, especially, mid-September. All this energy in the sign of Virgo, which is the serpent. There's going to be much more playing off than just that. You have to take into consideration everything. Uranus being in Taurus. Uranus is a disruptor, man, because it's the OG. So it's in Taurus, which is money. So this could indicate, a crash in the markets. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, so it's at home here. It's conjunct with the sun. The moon will be in Leo. Venus will be in Leo. That will play a role. Jupiter's in Gemini, but Uranus is in Taurus, and it's going to be there for a minute. So that's a big marker. And then during the month of May, I think it is, Rahu goes into Aquarius, which is a big deal because there's going to be a lot of focus on technology. There's going to be a cryptocurrency as well. There'll be you're probably going to start to see the markets change in May in a big way, either positive or negative. If we go to the month of May, which again is the third month, the true third month, you have the sun's in Taurus with Uranus. Jupiter's just ready to leave Taurus, man. Kind of in between that stage of Gemini. So this is a big deal too. The month of May is a big deal. Taurus is money, man. Show me the money. That's why the bull, the ox, is the mascot for the New York Stock Exchange. So this is a pretty big deal with the sun here in the sign of Taurus. I mean, Mercury will be there mid-May, end of May. This could bring something here. Jupiter and Uranus all here. This could be a really big pivotal month for everybody. So these are things to look out for. I'm not saying they are absolutes. I'm not doing predictions really. I'm just giving you possibilities to look into. But this is true sidereal, man. This is not tropical. This is true sidereal. The only true map of the stars. Freebird, birth card, 5 of club, loners can be, right? That, like, not normally 5 of clubs are very busy people. I mean, it is a very drama-based energy. It's tied right to the moon, and that's what the moon does. It causes conflict and chaos. It causes boredom in somebody's life. That 5 of clubs is tied to religion and sports and currency itself. So it will depend on what season you're living in. That's another big factor that people don't consider when they do readings for somebody. You know, it's great to look at the numbers, what your life path is, what your birthday is, what cycle you're in. But we also need to look at the zodiac wheel, take into consideration the Chinese zodiac, what's playing out, but we also need to look at what season you're living out. Now, if you're going on the average lifespan of somebody living to be about 83, 85, then your springtime is from 0 when you come out into this world until about 20. So every season is 20 years. So springtime, 0 to 20. Summertime, 21 to 40. Fall time, 41 to 60. And then wintertime, 61 to 80. Those are averages. So when you're doing a reading for somebody, providing them somewhat of content on what season you're in could have an impact on the reading itself, because, you know, like I'm in my fall season. What do we do? Like if we go through these seasons one by one, right? I would imagine most people here are either in their summer, fall, or winter stage. I don't think anybody's here that's below 21 years of age here. Maybe. But that's your springtime, and that correlates to new ideas. You're just getting started. Got to get my driver's license. I'm going to turn 18. Looking forward to being able to drive, being able to drink when I'm 21. That's your springtime. You're just getting started as a human being. So it's fresh. You're naive, right? You're resistant. If you have any kind of bacteria or germs, for the most part, if your immune system's high, it won't affect you as much, right? Your resilience is up. You heal quicker. You know, you cut yourself, it heals much faster. Springtime. Then you move into the summertime. And that's 21 to 40. And during the summertime, what happens is that we want to party and have a good time. We want to take our clothes off. We want to hump. We want to find people to mate with. We want to experience sexuality. We want to experience addictions and drugs and partying and whatever. I'm just going on averages. This is not for everybody. Summertime is the fullest expression of expansion. Then it's time for your fall season. Now you move from 41 to 60. And what do we normally do in the fall season, 41 to 60? Got to get serious. Got to get my 401k. Got to get my retirement. Got to get my IRAs. Got to get my stocks in order. Got to get my crypto. Got to buy my house. Got to pay my house off. I got kids on the way. I got to make sure I, get serious on the business. It's time to get serious. Fall time, because you're now going to, in nature, you go out and you pick to prepare for the winter. So in fall season, for your overall zodiac and your numerology, that's going to play a big role in telling you, and then you can bring transits in and you can see how things affect you, but it will be different if you're in your fall season versus your summer season or versus your spring season. When I'm not like, if I cut myself now, it takes 2 times, 3 times as long to heal. But if you're in your springtime, if you're a little 16-year-old and you cut yourself, it's going to heal much faster. The regeneration process is going to be much quicker. So for me in my fall time, my chart reads way different. Like when I was in my springtime and my summertime, I wasn't living the life of a hermit like I am now. Not at all. But the experiences I got by partying and going crazy and living through my addictions and going to prison and getting married 3 times, what does that do to a person when you move into the fall season? You become extremely wise because like I've been there, done that 3 times with marriage. I went to prison for 2 years. I've been addicted to drugs. I've been addicted to this and that. Now I have experience to go into my fall season and present to the world, hey, maybe you should think twice about that. That's how I get to be the hermit now. And then I get bored with those things I used to do in the spring, and they don't have the luster anymore for me. I reminisce though. It's been many times where I wanted to go to Vegas again and go to a club and just party all night long. Could I still do that? Yeah, but my body would just be like, dude, what are you doing? I would pay the price. Like when you get hungover now at 50, like I'm 52. If I get completely blitzed, which I don't do, but if I were to do that, man, I would be paying the price for it the next day. Whereas if I'm 21, man, I could get blitzed, wake up and do it again the next day because my body just quick heals fast. So this is the value of just looking at the seasons, which I include in the reading as well, the spring, summer, fall, and winter. Looking at the seasons and what season are you living in right now through the aspects of your age. And there are exceptions because some of you will live longer and it will adjust your season. But when you're in your fall season, man, you're preparing for winter. You're saving. You're like, oh, I think I'll pass on going out with the boys tonight or going out with the girls. I don't want to party tonight. Nah, I'd rather stay. You may like watching a movie is more, and staying home and drinking tea. And just sitting in your pajamas is more luxurious than getting all dolled up or getting all dressed up and going out to a club with your friends. Because it doesn't have the luster that it once had. Your sex drive goes down, your testosterone drive goes down, and that makes you lose your chemistry. So it's just the value of knowing what season you're in is amazing to add to the layer of doing a reading for somebody. When you bring in everything else, it's just really beautiful. So when you look at, like you can take the card system, like this amazing system, and this is pretty much for everybody, will outlast you. Every year they move, and you can look at your cards and you can take these cards and you can move them into your astrological chart. Then you can do the transits on top of that, and it gets very complicated, but you can get a really good idea of how your life's going to look for the entire year. That's the value of using these systems. You're able to predict things in a certain way. At least you're able to see what's coming your way. And then when you know it's coming, the value of that is priceless because then, well, maybe I'm not going to react. Because if you don't know what's coming, if you get caught off by, like most people here don't like to get caught by surprise. When you get caught by surprise, what do you normally do? It's like the knee-jerk reaction. You don't give any thought to what's coming towards you because it's by surprise. But if you know it's coming and you're prepared, you're not going to get emotionally involved like you would with the knee-jerk reaction, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I mean, I went in from the 5 of clubs. I was married to a 5 of clubs. Very, 5 is an energy that's very busy. If you're born on the 5th, if you have a 5 life path, you're going to be somebody who's extremely busy in life. You really can't sit still. You have ants in your pants. Change and variety are things that you should never resist. Because if you resist the change and variety, there's a chance you'll be penalized for that. You'll go through door number 3 of I'm not going to change, I'm not going to change, I'm not going to change. And then you get penalized by going down that door number 3. And it was already predestined for you to take that door number 3 anyway, because there's a cause and effect of everything. But then you realize, well, shit, door number 3, that one's not as much fun as door number 2. But door number 2 is already pre-programmed for you. So you just that's why when I people that are born in the 5th or have 5 life paths or 5 of hearts, 5 of clubs, 5 of diamonds, change and variety are your best friends. Shouldn't resist them. Yeah, you can also take the seasons, the 4 quadrants, and you can apply those to the ages that we live through, which is really hard to do because a lot of people don't think that we're in Aquarius yet. This age, what we're living through right now, looks nothing like Pisces. So I would think that we're already in the age of Aquarius. Is there going to be a springtime for Aquarius? Which would be the golden age of Aquarius. Right? The golden age would be the springtime. Everything's new. Refreshment. Reinvent. Recycle. Renew. Things are brought to justice. Could that be a thing? Yeah, possibly. And as you go through the age of Aquarius, spring, summer, fall, and winter, when you get to the winter stage of Aquarius, that's potentially where you have the rise of the machines and they take over and Skynet and all those things that you see in the movies. That potentially could be the thing that comes during those times. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying that it's true what I'm telling you, but there are really fun ways to look at our reality. Giovanni, thoughts on Ace of Hearts being card number 1? Is that your card, or you're asking me on it being card number 1? I don't understand your question. Dr. Zom asks, do you desire more wealth, or are you more interested in your passion and happy where you're at? Well, part of me lives through my 8. In Gregorian, I'm an 8 life path, which I don't resonate with that much, but it represents power. So I can easily say, well, yeah, I have knowledge and I share the knowledge and that's my power. But there was many times throughout my life where I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be wealthy. I was chasing that. So it's in my DNA, it's in my blood to have that. But now that I've really moved into the 9 life path and really resonate with that more, for me, it's just all about comfortability and being able to have space to create through, to change lives by having space to change through. And if I do end up getting what somebody would consider wealthy, well, it's something that my screenplay calls for. I mean, I don't have the desire to have this big ass house. To be honest, I was just the other day, I was like, man, because I have my place that I have, my casita here in Mexico. It's new. I like new stuff, but it's small. It's a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, but it's tiny. And I love it because it's easy to clean. It doesn't take me long to clean it. I keep it clean. I'm a minimalist. But I'm thinking to myself, man, if I could own something like this, if I could build a house right now, it would be a small house. I'm not interested in the big, glamorous. I have friends that have that. I could just go visit them. And I get to go experience that if I want to. But if I had my choice, it would be a small house. But it would have all the bells and whistles, but it would be small. because I just like the fact that it's easy to maintain, you know, it's easy to upkeep. I don't need a lot, that kind of thing. Where was I in prison? I went to, funny enough, I started off in a city that was outside of San Francisco. It was actually in the city where my ex-fiance lived. Wasn't too far from her place. It was kind of interesting. So I started off there. It was a town called Dublin, out toward Pleasanton in the East Bay of San Francisco. And then when I got transferred, when I got sentenced, I went to the desert, man. I was out at Taft. It's called Taft. And it was out in, I can't even think of the name of it now. It's crazy. I can't think of the name of where it was at. But I was at Taft prison. And it was in the desert. So it was up like in the northern part. And yeah, it was easy peasy, honestly. I was at a camp. My first year I was at a regular prison, 2-man cell for a year, and then I did 6 months at a camp. That was easy. It's kind of a joke, really. But it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Greatest thing. One of the greatest things. Because I changed my life. I read over 100 books, learned how to meditate for 30 minutes, played a lot of guitar, taught some people how to exercise, started teaching in there. It was just... And I still have friends that I talk to that I was in prison with that are really cool people. One with Nature says, so if they say own nothing, should we fight by owning? It's all going to be up to you. Mary says Taft, California. Yes, Taft, California. A lot of dirt out there. Original Sauce, what did you get locked up for? My charge was conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So the story, I'll give you the short story. You can go look it up online. It's still in the tabloids. I was, when I got out of the gym industry, I had met this girl who I ended up getting into a relationship with, who I'm still friends with today. We dated for like 6 months, but she introduced me to this big real estate developer up in San Francisco. And she's like, oh, you should maybe go work for him. Well, he hired me. I was kind of like his little personal assistant. And at first I was going around looking at single family residences, and he wanted to extend on those, build up on those. So I was looking for places where we could make them bigger. So I did a lot of driving, got my real estate license. I was kind of inspired. I got my real estate license, passed it the first time. I thought that would be useful and helpful. And then after a couple of years, he got into what are called condo conversions. And the condo conversions are where you buy apartment buildings and you transfer all the apartment numbers into condos. They all have separate deeds. So you could buy a 300 unit apartment building and get 300 units out of it. So his idea was to buy these apartment buildings and then find buyers for them, do the mortgages through the people's names, pay them money per transaction, but then have them sign over a quick claim deed where you could have full access and rent them out and do whatever it is that you wanted to do. So that's what he did. And he was an extremely intelligent man. And I didn't really know anything about real estate. So I was super naive, but so we started doing that. That was like for a couple years, the operation. And every month, checks would go out, paying all the mortgages. Everybody was happy. It's obviously it's not even a gray area. There is such a thing as called a straw buyer. When you buy a car, you can actually say, hey, Logan, can you carry the loan for me? You're not supposed to, right? I carry the loan for you, but you get the car, right? It goes on my credit. It's called straw buying. Well, that's what he did with the mortgages, and you're not supposed to do that. So the operation was so big that the feds got involved, and nobody knew it. And the reason why it was wire fraud is because the transactions of the mortgages were going over state lines. It was no longer in California. He actually had property in Arizona, I think it was. So it was now federal. It made it federal. So the feds got involved. No one knew. In 2008, when the real estate market crashed, I don't know if maybe you may or may not have remembered that, but the real estate market crashed. The loans, all those kinds of loans that they had just completely collapsed. And that's when he just lost everything, couldn't hang on to anything. And then we all there was 5 of us that got indicted. It was in 2008. I can't remember exactly what, October, maybe November 2008. And I was still working for him, but it was almost over. And yeah, and that was, so I was like the little spoke in the wheel. He was the main guy. He got 7 years. But there were 5 of us in total that got indicted. And we all got 24 months. He got 7 years, we got 24 months. And yeah, that's the story. You can look it up online. Not everything is true in the tabloids, by the way, when you go read about the stuff, because they obviously like to create drama just as much as everybody else does. But yeah, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me, though. It was scary at first, but then, like I said, read over 100 books, changed my life, moved into numerology. I wouldn't have done all that if I wouldn't have gone into prison. So it was pretty amazing. I wouldn't sign up to go do it again, but it did change my life for the better, for sure. Yeah, 2008 was a leap year as well. So Pluto was in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is Jupiter expansion. You bring Pluto in there, and really removes a lot of the thinking and all that kind of stuff. Have I done a decode on the indictment? I have. I've looked at the. There's some things I don't remember, like the indictment day. I don't have all the paperwork because all that stuff I've thrown all out. I don't care about that stuff that passed. So I did look into some of it, and it was obviously so scripted and coded. So, I mean, I'll tell all of you now. Those of you that don't know, maybe you're new here, how scripted my life is. My birth card, my birth card in the tarot is that card right there, which is trapped and limited. In other words, it's the prison. Both of my parents retired from the prison system. My dad was a captain at the state of Connecticut prison, and my mom was the head secretary for the warden there. Both of them retired from the prison system. So they worked in the prison system. I went to prison. That's how scripted my life is. And so that's how I know. I don't need anybody's permission to know that I'm living through a scripted reality. I didn't have a choice in the matter. I was supposed to go through all those kinds of things. It was my destiny. So it becomes funny, really. Even though they're not fun things about life, I wouldn't sign up for them. But once you go through them and you look back on them and you see how scripted it is, you realize, well, shit, I ain't in control of my life. So. Yeah, Modesto. I know where Modesto's at. Spent a lot of time in Dublin. My ex was there. She still lives there. Didn't really care for the Bay Area too much, to be honest. Lane, you're asking about significance of the birth cards versus the life. There's only the birth card and the spirit card. The life card is the birth card. See, for me, I tell people, so I'll tell all of you here, that for some of you, you will not really resonate with your birth card anymore. You'll move into your spirit card. I speak from experience. I'm saying that because myself and there's other people that I know that don't really resonate with their birth card anymore. They just resonate with their spirit card, which is what I call the handler card. Like when you walk a dog, you're handling the dog. That's the spirit card. So I resonate more with that one now. You know, my life and everything about it is more on my spirit card than my ego card. Sure. Is that Jordan in the house? Logan, are you excited for Canada to become the 51st state of the United Hot Dogs of America? Are they Canada? I didn't know. If that's Jordan in the house. I think it is. Let me see. Let's see if that's Jordan. It's got to be. Yeah, Jordan's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Give some love to Jordan. Waters above. Am I excited that they're becoming the 51st state? Well, 51's tied to Area 51. So, I can tell you that. But I like the Hot Dogs of America. That's pretty funny. Thanks for joining, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Jordan is, click on the waters above. It's in the chat, the WA. Go to his channel, sign up for his university. He's got a university, amazing human being, changes lives. I have so much positive feedback from people that have been in his courses, been taken this and that, been around his life, and nothing but positive stuff, man. So if you want change in your life, that's a guy that can change your life. So he is one of a kind. Born to speak. Got the voice that soothes people. So thanks for showing up, brother. You're alive. How many hot dogs was Obama supposed to send to that birthday party again? That's funny. I can't taste my hot dog. One of the funniest things Jordan never shared with me is this podcast by, his name is escaping me. Jordan, you'll have to pipe in. I can't remember his name. But he's a funny dude. And he did this skit on when COVID was going around a couple of years ago. And he was like kind of imitating how people behave. And he was saying that he was imitating somebody who was at a party and had COVID, and they were trying to brag about how bad they had the symptoms. Tim Dillon, yeah, the Tim Dillon Show. Thanks, Jordan. So if you want to go watch somebody that's really funny, his name's Tim Dillon on YouTube. And so he did this skit, and it was hilarious. And he was just like, I can't take you, because people are losing their taste. And the funny thing about it was he's like, I can't taste my hot dog. And of course, the funny thing is the person was trying to brag on how bad their symptoms were. And he used the hot dog as the example. Like the ridiculousness of that. Anyway, it's not funny because I'm doing it, but if you listen to him, it's freaking hilarious. So Jordan, waters above in the house. Jordan, when are we going to get together and do another podcast? I have a lot of people asking me that. So maybe we need to talk again. Original sauce. What's up with the blood moon? I don't know what's up with it. It's not bloody over where I'm at. Anyway, go over and support Jordan at Waters Above. Go type in Waters Above at YouTube if you don't know what that is. He started off doing cryptocurrency analysis. He still does that. He's very good at that. He's been one of the pioneers in showing that cryptocurrency is controlled by, or at least influenced by, the sun and the moon and other celestials in the canopy. Times of the year, he's big on the calendars. He has a very interesting, unique perspective on how the markets work, and he's very good at what he does. And he teaches it on his channel. He offers a lot of free content, and he's a one of a kind. So if you want to change your life, if you want a different perspective, he's got a university he's doing right now. He's got a mastermind course you can go sign up for. Definitely well worth the investment that you put into it, for sure. All right, well, it's getting around that time, 12:07. I think we're going to kind of call this one. We're going to do some tarot cards. And I got a new deck. I bought, I just wanted some cards with numbers on it. So I bought this, like, children's flashcards. So it's like 1 to 100. So I'm gonna pull one of these. So maybe this number will be significant for you. So let's get into some of the cards here. Shuffle these cards. Thanks everybody for being here. Oh, and I had said in I had put a video out on Patreon. Let's talk about finding your twin flame. Got a lot of angry people on that one. I don't know why. Like Jim Morrison said, people are strange. I'm looking for a 9 of diamonds. So if you're a 9 of diamonds, specifically on September 2nd, if your birthday is September 2nd, specifically 1975, hit me up. Lisa, what's the tarot card for 7 of Hearts, 7 of Cups? Yeah, looking for a 9 of diamonds. September 2nd, 1975 specifically. Antheon, is Santos doing okay? Santos Bonacci. As far as I know, he texted me. I texted him when I was in Acapulco about Zeus being in the sign of Taurus. So we were kind of chatting back and forth. He's doing his thing. September 2nd. The second, number 2, 9272 actually. September's the 7th month. Eye Candy Hermit. What do you think about changing your name based on numerology? Do it. See what happens. I mean, I've been going by Logan for over 20 years. But it will not circumvent the birth certificate name. At all. So you can change it. And that's my opinion. I'm not saying that I'm the standard final answer here with that. You got to play, because I mean, when I started studying numerology, the first book I read was Chiro's Book of Numbers. That was the first numerology book I read, and he was a Chaldean numerologist. And he had some information on the number 23 and how people they consider 23 to be the luckiest number. Well, it's tied to the moon. That's one of the reasons why. It's tied to the Area 51 and the aliens. That's another reason why, which is tied to the moon. But I don't consider numbers lucky. Numbers are numbers. Every number can be fortunate. I've studied enough people, and they all have different birthdays, different charts, and I've studied wealthy people, and they all have the numbers 1 through 9 in their charts, in their numerology. It's not just like like there's this thing about the number 28 is the number of money. It's only one number. All the numbers are the number of money. Every single number is a number of money. Everybody on the world, there are people on, I shouldn't say everybody, there are people on the world stage that are born on every day 1 through 31 and they're wealthy. There are wealthy people for every number. So it's kind of ridiculous to say that it's one specific number in particular. I think any number can be wealthy. I think any number can live a life of scarcity. There's many layers that go into it. It's not just the numerology. So you can change your name if you so choose, but it will never circumvent your birth certificate name because that's stamped into the universe by the divine. The divine gave you that by way of your parents, whatever the divine is, whatever you would list it as. Lane's asking, do you give readings that include what a partner should be for us? I talk about it, yeah. I talk about what you're best suited for if you want to get into that topic in particular. We cover the 7th house. The 7th house is the house known of partnerships, but the 6th house is a house of family. And then your 5th house is the house of sex. Doing the cha-cha-cha. So you gotta look at those houses, and then you gotta look at where your Venus is at, where your Mercury's at, where your Sun's at. Then you got to look and see where Leo, Virgo, and Libra are at, and where the Lord or Lordesses of those are at. So it gets complicated. It's not just as easy as saying, well, this or that. But when you look at if you're with a partner right now and you look at and you find their birth card, it's usually right there in the charts. You can see the person that you're with, right in the charts. Jonathan, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for the support. J604, do you think it's okay to hurt people who are hurting others or you? You're talking about retaliation. That's a personal decision. I'm not going to answer that question. What I would say is study why is the person trying to hurt you? See, everything's scripted to me, so it's like if someone's hurting you, well, you could say they're doing it on purpose. You can say they're trying to manipulate. You can say that they don't have any idea. Where do you draw the line? I don't know, man. I don't have drama in my life. There's a lot of people that I know that are hurting other people. Mentally, physically, right? I know people that are, it's not my business. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's like, okay, you want to get out there and start attacking something in the mainstream that you don't like about the mainstream, and you're going to go make a difference? get your hands involved. Once you get out there and you go join some organization that is about bringing this to justice or doing that, prepare to have your life have some drama in it. Your life's going to get dramatized. That's just when you use logic and critical thinking, that is what will happen to your life. It's unavoidable. So if you don't want drama in your life, then ascension is severing ties with complexity. The less you have in your life, the less drama you will have. Fact. Free of drama? No, but you will have less of it. Misty's asking, why do so many actors and musicians change their first and even their last name? There's a million different reasons why they may do it, because it's easier to read, sounds more, it's personal. Some may change it for numerology purposes. Of course, there's probably plenty of people that do it for that. But the birth certificate name always will supersede everything. That's my opinion as a numerologist, as knowing how this reality works. Oh, you're J604, you're boxing. If I don't hurt my opponent, I will be the one who gets hurt. Well, that's different. You're now entering into a ring, the square, and now you've purposely gone into putting yourself in that position of having somebody that's going to be a predator after you. Save the drama for your mama. It's funny. Misty says, I don't like drama, but some people thrive. Most people thrive with crises. Most people love it. They would tell you, oh no, I don't like drama. Yeah, well, you look at your life, it's freaking bonkers. You love it. You love the dirty laundry, man. Many of you here love watching the news. Oh, I don't like watching the news. But then why you watch it? You love it. It feeds you. It gets an emotional reaction out of you. Now you have the opportunity to engage. Oh, I'm bored. Find something else. Go find a different hobby. Once you turn on the news, once you turn on politics, it will instantly and automatically try to get an emotional reaction from you. And guess what happens when that happens? You feed it. Without question. Energy goes where attention flows. So if you cut ties with complexity, you will raise your frequency. You will ascend. That's why the Egyptians said your heart has to be light as a feather. No attachments. Easy W, what's your thoughts on art contributing and feeding the matrix? What do you mean? Are you talking about making music or painting or? It's inevitable that you're going to feed the matrix in some way, some shape, or some form. I don't know, folks. I mean, when I decoded the architect of the universe, I started research the Matrix. I'm watching the Matrix Reloaded again, and I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying that whole story's true. But I do know that Persephone is the wife of Hades, and Hades was the Merovingian, and that was obvious. And he was trying to hide the keymaker, so the keymaker couldn't allow Neo to get to the source. That's what their story was about. What I did resonate with the Merovingian, and I'm heavily connected to Pluto, and that's Prometheus, was the fact that he got exiled. And if you read about the exiles, they're like rogue programs. They don't accept the Matrix anymore. They have to live inside of it, but they don't want to accept it anymore. What is the matrix? Choosing polarity. That's as simple as you can get it. It's choosing polarity. Jesus told you straight up in Revelation 3 verses 15. He goes to the church in Turkey, the church of Laodicea, one of the 7 churches. And he tells the people that are at the church, hey, you people, what are you doing? You people are just like sitting there and you're lukewarm, man. See, I wish you would choose polarization. You're either going to be with me or you're against me. But this whole lukewarm sitting in the middle not doing anything, I can't have that. I got no use for you if you're going to be neutral. If you want to stay in this game, you have to choose a side. But I wish you would pick one. He literally comes out and tells you, you're either going to be an angel or a demon. Straight up. And then he goes on to say, if you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. So what is that insinuating? That you're already inside his mouth. You're in the mouth of Jesus is the serpent. I'm telling you right now, he is. I don't care if you don't believe me, and I know there's going to be some thumbs down. People are going to get Logan's this and that. I don't care, man. At this stage of the game, I don't. I know what the code shows. I'm not in this for you to put a like. I'm not going to tell you to go share this with your friends. I'm not. I'm more of that person who's in exile, man. Like I just don't resonate with the matrix, with the positive or negative, like picking a side. That's what the church wants you to do. Pick a side, man. They give you a side to pick. Oh, you don't want to pick that side. You want to be with us, man. We're the winning hand. You can't have a winning hand unless there's a losing hand, and that creates polarity. How about neither? I don't want to choose any side, man, because it's 2 sides of the same coin. So I'm like the Merovingian in that story, part of it is they're the exiles, and I feel like the program that you're written into, you become aware of the matrix. That's why in the story, and when he goes to see the source, the architect, he's like, there's all these people that are rising, they don't want to be part of it anymore, and it's going to crash the system. Because if you don't go along with the operating system, you have the potential to crash it. That was the whole point of the story. And that's what's happening. And I've been saying this for a long time, man. We're all decoding ourselves home. And I had said this many times, and I'll tell you all here again. When we start to put things together and syncretize the numbers with the cards and the periodic table and the astrological charts, it fuses all together. And then you've realized it's all scripted. You become a rogue, man. You're like, well, dude, wait a minute. I'm in a freaking program. I am a program in a program, and I don't want to be a part of that program anymore. So I just don't fit in anymore. And it maybe, just maybe, folks, we're going to crash the system, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know how that would even look. I don't even know how to even talk about that, because I'm taking someone else's story. That's a story. I don't know, fiction, nonfiction, I don't know. But I do know that we live in a predestined world, man. I mean, I would be lying to you if I told you that we're not. I would not be authentic. Knowing what I've been shown and what's been given to me, I would be inauthentic if I told you, oh yeah, you got tons of free will. Keep going to do you. It would be completely inauthentic for me to tell you that now. And if you're supposed to wake up and go rogue and be an exile and not be part of the Matrix anymore, then you were scripted to do it. That's why it says right in the Matrix movie, they even said it, Neo goes there. He doesn't have a choice. He makes the choice, but it's an illusion. He was supposed to do it. That's why he says, man, you had 5 predecessors. You're the 6th one. We're going to crash Zion again. It's not going to be any different. And what does he do? He goes and chases the ass. He chooses Trinity, romance. So I'm telling you, love is the trap, man. Anyway. I belong to nobody. I belong to no organization. I don't even like titles. I'm a nihilist, man. And I even have my own definition of what nihilism is. It's not even the customary nihilism that you would discuss. People, critical thinking, man. It's critical thinking in this channel. This is what we encourage. Critical thinking, logic, critical thinking. Not average, just programming that everybody goes along with. Like, oh, hey, everybody's doing it, so it's the popular thing to do. No, we do the opposite of that. And then we do the opposite of that. Because for the majority of my life, I didn't use critical thinking. I just went along with what everybody else goes along with. So, folks, when you start to pay attention, even there's a really cool show on, I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's with James Franco. He's a time traveler. And he goes back during the JFK assassination. It was a book by Stephen King. It was directed by J.J. Abrams, I think. And it gets a story. But at the very end of that, man, he realizes that you got to sever ties with the loop. You're in a loop. If you watch the show Dark, which I have a decode coming out on, I have all the slides ready to go. I decoded all the people, the main stars of that show Dark. Amazing show. In that show, they said the same thing. You have to sever ties with the loop that you're in. And you know what the loop is? Love. That's what the loop is. Falling in love, making babies. That's what the loop is. It doesn't get any more simpler than that. But it will never stop. It can't stop. Because the game needs players. That's how you and I got here. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for two people humping. And that's why we have oxytocin, dopamine. That's why we're addicted to these feelings, emotions, whatever you want to call them. That's why orgasms feel so good. That's why people chase with the chemistry. That's why you start off with lust and desire, and then you move towards love, and you say, well, I'm not. No, it's different now. Whatever. Then you become a slave to that person. And now you can't get out. And when they suffer, you suffer. Isn't that not a trap? I don't know how else you'd define it. And I want to be very clear. I'm going to pull some tarot cards. I'm not saying what I'm saying is true. Possibilities, ideas, within the framework of this reality, whatever it is. That's all I can tell you. All right, let's get to some tarot cards and call this, wrap it up. All right. So we're going to do a couple tarot cards and we're going to do a number card if that resonates with you. Actually, let me do the numbers first. Let's see what we get for a number. So maybe this number will be your birthday. Maybe it'll be a special number. Maybe it will be your anniversary date, your child's date, birthday. It could be your life path added up. I don't know. But let's see. Let's see what card we're going to pull. We're just going to slide the finger in here, pull one up. What do we got? What is that number? 63. So maybe that number is significant to you. I'm going to see where we go with this. I'll come back to that because in numerology, I know what that number is attached to. Well, let's see what we got. So the question is now that I've shuffled the tarot cards, what is the most important thing for you to focus on in your life right now? What's the most important thing for you to focus on in your life right now? And then I will pull a card from the Astro deck, which will either talk about a house or a planet. And that may offer some information for some of you. Okay. So what's the most important thing for you to focus on in life right now? What's your question? 97. 97 is the 25th prime number. Tonight's a blood moon. We've officially moved into the Gregorian Pi Day. What is that? The 5 of Cups. I think we pulled this last week. I'm almost sure that we pulled this last week. Yeah. I think we did on What's Your Question 96. 5 of Cups. Card number 41. So I'm just going by the numbers, right? So it's 5 of Cups, yeah. But the number of the tarot card this is card 41. And 41 is tied to Elohim. The numerology of let us make man in our image. Elohim card right here. So the number alone is the Elohim 41. This is tied to the moon as well. But the most important thing to focus on in life right now, this card right here can mean losses and griefs and mourning. You could have a death. This can mean walking away from something that you're too attached to. Something that is causing you dissonance in your life because you cannot let it go. The cup behind, there's 2 cups behind this person. So this card, and there's water flowing. So it means that the flow of life never ends. You may spill the cups in front. There's spilled cups there, and you may be sad about it. You may have lost something like the crypto market. I mean, if you're someone who trades crypto, it went down. It took a beating. So you may be that person, like you're mourning your losses, man, but it's not permanent because the market's going to go back up again. Or maybe you're going through a breakup and you didn't want to. Maybe there is a death in your family and you're mourning. It could be that for some of you. Maybe somebody broke up with you. Maybe you found out someone's cheating on you. I mean, it could be a million different things. But let's get the next card. Most important thing to focus on in life right now. What is that? What's that? Card 69. More moon reference. The word dragon and beast in Greek. The great dragon and the great beast in Revelation. This is it, the card. 69 are the numerologies of both of those. 69 is called the royal star, the lion, tied to the sun and moon. I mean, go get the Elohim here, which is also tied to the moon. Let us make man in our image. But then you have the 69 card. You have tough times here. This is a card that is about the game of life itself. So what this could mean for some of you here, besides what I just mentioned, is that some of you right now are really struggling. And you're struggling so much that you are not paying attention to what could be. You're too much engrossed on what was. You got to let it go. Nothing's permanent. I'm even telling myself that, like, what are you holding on to? Hell is holding on, heaven is letting go. What are you holding on to that's causing you hell and grief? Well, for some of you, it could be something major in your life. Let's get a third card. Third card. Wow, there's so much moon reference. I can't even freaking believe it. That's just insane. Last card. What is that? Ace of Wands. Card number 23. Card 22/23. Abracadabra. It's funny. This is the card of Viagra. Can you see what the hand's holding on to? The word Viagra is 14. The Ace of Clubs is the 14th card. This is the conversion into the Ace of Wands. I showed this in my Viagra Decoded Scripted Reality 23. That was the humor of the divine. Yeah, that hand's holding on to what? This is also the card of Hollywood. Holding the Hollywood. The Harry Potter wand. This is so much moon reference here, I can't even believe it. This is card 23. The word moon equals 23 in numerology. This is card 69. The beast is 69, which is the great beast, which is the moon. 2 cards in a row with the beast here, the moon. I can't even believe it. It's crazy. And then this is card 41, which is tied to Elohim, and they're tied to the moon. Let me just add these up. See if there's any significance to that. 41, 69, 23. 133, that's tied to the Omega, Alpha and Omega. So more moon reference. This is all moon reference, by the way, and tonight's the blood moon. Crazy. What is the 63? Non-player character equals 63 in numerology. What creates the non-player character? The energy from the celestial above, man. The sun gives its light to the moon reflects it back off to the earth. The moon accepts from the boss, which is the logos, the sun. And the moon creates the illusion. That's why it's dream work pictures. And they're fishing on the moon. So overall, if I add up all those, 23, 69, and 41, I get 133, and then you add the 63, and this is the number that I get. 196. You know what that is, right? It's gold. And gold is the sun, and moon is the little silver. This whole entire reading right here was about the moon. I have no idea what this means right now, but for some of you, there could be some losses that you need to let go of and focus on creating some new magic. What's your dream? Let's see what house or zodiac this is going to pertain. If I get the moon here, I'm going to... What's the card? What is this one? Mercury. Mercury is the way you think. So this could mean that you need to focus on creating some new magic by way of new thoughts. You need to change the way you're thinking. Even the 63rd card in the tarot is the Queen of Spades, Queen of Swords, which is the Queen of Spades, and that's card 51, and that's tied to Area 51. This whole thing, man, all my life right now, everything in my life, from eternal life that I got coming out, I got cannibalism coming out, the topic on cannibalism, cannibalism and vampirism, all linked to the sun and moon. It's insanely scripted, folks. But Mercury is, you look to your house, where's your Mercury located at? Let me just check. Right now, give me 1 second. So Mercury right now is in Pisces, and it's conjunct with Venus. And the sun and Saturn are in Pisces as well. You have 4 celestials in Pisces right now. Stacked. And the moon obviously is going to be in the opposite space of where the sun is, and that means it's in the sign of Leo. It's right on that precipice of moving into Pisces. So Aquarius, it's right across full moon. You have the full moon in Leo right now. Leo is the pride, the ego. Some of you need to let go of. You are thinking of some kind of, there could be pride here. There could be some loss with the ego. There could be a breakup here. Financial losses. There could be a breakup with the family. But the redeemer here is the Hollywood card. Creating a new movie. So are we going to be optimistic or pessimistic? We could be pessimistic, where we could just sit there and be this lump on a log and be this sad, depressing ball of wax here and mourn and bitch and cry that you don't have this and you don't have that, and you continue to do that and create your scarcity. Or you could create some abracadabra. I mean, this is tied to the moon. Moon is 23. This is the 23rd card in the deck. So full moons, man, the energy of the full moon, it's time to create instead of sulking and mourning and bitching. And Mercury was the energy we got, and that's the way you think. And Mercury's sitting in the sign of Pisces right now, so it's a mystic, the way mysticism's coming in. Spirituality, enlightenment, while the moon is in Leo. So the emotions of Leo are tied to the ego in a big way. The moon is in the ego position. And it's in the sign of the sun, so the sun is affecting that full moon across the way over right on that precipice of Pisces and Aquarius. So the moon is in the sun sign, and it's in a full moon, which is getting all its energy from the sun. So the sun is impacting that moon in its own sign of Leo. And the 5th house is manifestation, it's sex. For some of you, there could be a breakup here. Someone could have been cheating. Got to move past it. They did you a favor. Like, remember, folks, this is how we can simplify it, right? If you're on board of living in a scripted reality, if you're on board with that, if you can consider that you're not in control of your life, then why are you holding on to so many things that you're emotionally attached to? Because the emotions are what's being harvested. I'm telling you, your emotions and your feelings and whatever you want to call them, they're being harvested. So when you're in this position of mourning and sulking and sadness because there's a loss in front of you, the cups behind you are still upright. There's still a chance to remove yourself from depression and anxiety and get out of this scarcity mindset. And remember that there's always tomorrow to do abracadabra. The question is, what kind of abracadabra do you want to do? Well, the Mercury's here, and Mercury is a chance to rethink. And it's in Pisces right now. And that means that it's using your spirituality, using your enlightenment. Mercury comes into a sign of water, so it has to slow down. Mercury's fast, but it comes into water, and it makes Mercury slow down. Slow down and think about it. Don't rush. But the moon's in Leo, a full moon, and that's the boss of the moon. The Leo right now is the sun. So the sun is impacting that moon. So it's literally, I mean, you couldn't have picked it. The blood moon, and the moon is in Leo, and Leo's ruled by the sun. I mean, it's ridiculous. And we know the dragon and the beast in Revelation are the sun and the moon, which control the stock markets, which control cryptocurrency, which control financial outcomes, which control outcomes, period. But it's time to make some changes in your life. I'm going to pull one more card from my Mickey Mouse deck, and we're going to call it a night. Okay. One card from my Mickey Mouse deck. So overall, what's the extra energy here that we can take away from this very glorious abracadabra? Maybe some of you need to go get some. I mean, this is the card of Viagra. Some of you that are still active. Well, again, if you're active, fine. Don't listen to what I say just because I'm not. My life's not cookie cutter. All right. Bugs Bunny, what do we got? 4 diamonds. So we're talking about financial security here. So for a lot of you, this will involve finances, a loss of finances. It could be the crypto market taking a beating. It should go up. It'll go back up. It's still in its birthing stages because it's not standardized yet. So this is moon energy, man, here with the sun as well. The sun and moon together here. But this means financial security. I want financial security. So you got to get the energy here is you got to get out there and abracadabra, wave that magic wand, the magic stick, man. Get out of the scarcity mindset. The losses that you've had, you got to move past them. They're not permanent. They're just temporary, including the wins that you get. All right. That's it. That's what I got for you. I hope that helps some of you. That will be very important for you. So let's see what we're going to. Let's see what I want to play here to end this. Oh, I don't even know. All right, we'll just play this one because it's so pertinent. Feed the wolf, man. What do you think the wolf is? Sun and moon. Can't help it. The wolf is the machine. Welcome to the machine. It's the game, man. It's impossible not to feed it, just to minimize it, but not have an emotional reaction to it. That's the name of the game. Stop getting emotionally involved to the things that are happening to you and everything around you. And if you're having trouble doing that, then you need to start detaching from a lot of things in your reality. Start detaching, start cutting cords from things in your reality until you get a handle on it. Become a minimalist for a while. Go to simple eating. Cut out all your complexities. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap, man. What's your question? 97. Appreciate each and every one of you. This is Feed the Wolf, the Lambert remix. I'll leave these songs in the description of this video once we end this a little bit later on. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Sending you guys tons of love from the Caribbean here in Mexico. Until next time, we will see you later.
constantly.